Your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus. Present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
It is Dom time. Before we get to some of the huge consequential stuff, look, I always say over the years, we don't want to let just the national, as intriguing as it is yesterday, we got a lot on that today, drowned out the local. What the heck's going on in Northeast Philadelphia? The drag queen mafia over at Northeast High. And now today, a listener just informed me that Father Judge and Abraham Lincoln, the rail splitters, will no longer play Thanksgiving Day football. And, you know, my suspicion is like the listener, after 40 years, paragraph 2, this decision was not taken lightly. It's born under consideration between the two schools, the safety and security of players, referees, and attendees. Philadelphia, once again, we can't have a Thanksgiving Day football thing. Now, this is Americana. This is tradition. I'm not sure what the longest is. It may be Easton versus somebody in our area. There's one that's, you know what it is, Anthony?
It's Easton Peaburg.
Yeah, is it like 100 and some years?
Yeah, actually, both the Mannings coached the teams for the 100th anniversary, and I was in attendance.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a trifecta right there. Sure, Peyton Manning put a lot into that. I like taking shots at that guy. Omaha. Hey, we're in Jersey, buddy.
You watch your Peyton Manning hate, Tommy. He's a great individual.
But thanks to a listener who made me aware of this, and I'll flesh it out throughout the show. My point being that, you know, all these things we cover nationally, but are people, is the media, I just got this email, are they going to cover this? And there's all sorts of what I think are fraudulent reasons in here. Like, this allows our scholar athletes time to decompress from playing football another week before they take up basketball. They're multi-sport athletes. Oh, come on now. Why put this in here?
Really?
Just say it. It's Krasner. Allowing the city to run wild.
Why do we still continue? Just ignore what's the elephant in the room.
How many different things can he spoil? But I'll get to it later on. Dawn set me up here. Just one point I'll make. What he got caught up on that Dawn and I were just talking about, that he's been made to write letters. This is an infamous case in Mount Airy where they killed the parents years ago. And they left, I believe she was 7 months, something like that, to die in freezing weather there in the house by herself. Her last name is Hart. She's outraged over this. Krasner didn't even consult with her, trying to get somebody out of death row. He would get Mumia out in a heartbeat. He will at some point if he's not stopped. Yeah, Dan, you're right. Oh, we can't say what it is. They put it in here, and then they just move away from, oh, scholar athletes. This will give us more time. We got another function. No, buddy. Sorry,
excuse.
I'm not bashing them. Whoever wrote this, it came from Judge, the Crusaders. I'm glad they keep that nickname, too. It's politically incorrect.
Oh, yeah. Be careful.
But they're going to have all the alum and all can still gather at some other event they're doing during Thanksgiving week. It's a football game. It's that. It's Americana. Why can't you have that? I welcome them. They can call in and tell me otherwise. I know what it is. And Dan and I and listeners to this station are the only ones willing to connect the dots at what this guy does. And you have to understand, he is not going to be stopped easily. Another election will be coming up. This has to be all out this time. I can't take another time. Well, I did win by 60 points. What's the matter with the local media? This is a story here. You don't lose Thanksgiving rivalry games like this. It's part of the fabric of it. All right, we'll get into that more. But TikTok It has passed the House now. It's not a ban. I just saw this from Pew Research. 56% of U.S. young adults use TikTok. One of the damaging elements of TikTok, we'll play you Ilhan Omar here in a minute. This is where they're getting their information, through this communist propaganda about what's going on in Israel and Gaza. So, of course, they think Israel is the bad guys, not Hamas. But sitting in or not moving from his seat, Anthony DiRenzo is one of those guys, Dan. If this goes
Guy
through,
loves TikTok, Dom.
yeah, if it passes the Senate, it's the old slippery slope. Now, when I first started in talk radio, I remember the slippery slope argument. I've never been a slippery slope guy, because you could say that about anything. Anything's a slippery slope. But there are principled people. I think he is one. Rand Paul's another.
Who, Anthony?
Yeah, I think he is.
You think
I'm
he's
very principled.
Yeah, I think he is on this. Yeah. And over 170 million Americans apparently use TikTok. So, Anthony, what's the best defense? Which camp are you in with this? Some dumb congressman today, McClintock from California, who said, well, China's authoritarian. If we make an American company have to own this, aren't we like China? Oh, yeah.
That's an interesting argument. The way I look at it is this is about data. I think bottom line, this is about data, and for them to point out these specific platforms, whether it was last month with Zuckerberg getting screamed at to now with the TikTok House hearing, in my opinion, all of these companies are taking our data and just selling it, creating other companies that just it's the new oil. Data is everywhere. I understand the concerns around China. I really do. I'm not trying to downplay it, but I just think this energy should be put toward trying to have more policy on privacy with Americans and using our data, put laws around that. And honestly, I think this comes down to parents and adult responsibility and freedom. Don't use TikTok. If you're scared of it, just don't.
You know, I hear something like that, Dom, and I wonder, do you not think China is that big of a threat? Because I ask, if North Korea launched an app that aimed to ideologically subvert, the American culture, would you not have an issue with that?
I understand the concern. I'm not trying to downplay China. I'm not Mr. Pro-China, but I just think this needs to be a philosophy on how we approach social media and how they're really taking our information as a whole.
But let me ask you here, and Dan's making a point. You mean to say you think this is the same as Facebook and things like that? How?
I just think they're all misusing. I guess we all agree to the terms of service that nobody reads. I think that's also part of this problem.
You don't read it?
No, but it's Facebook. Here's the difference, right? Is Facebook as a policy trying to ruin America and American kids and culture and spying on us?
I think all of them are using algorithms to make us totally addicted. And
they're doing that. Yeah.
But they're not dividing us,
right?
I mean, that happened in 2016, though, with the Russian collusion in the election and buying ads on Facebook, and that's a whole.
They spent $30,000 and they won an election where billions were spent.
It's not an entire communist government sitting on the board of a company that's offering algorithms that are, again, it's designated to divide.
Yeah. I know that TikTok is divisive at times, but it scares me because this seems to me, if we do ban TikTok, they can just ban whatever they want to because they want to.
All right. So you made that argument, Dan. His argument to me before the show was, well, someday they'll come for the Dom Giordano show.
Yeah, 1210. They don't like us. They'll come for us. Yeah.
I'm genuinely curious because I'm not as, plugged in on the social media apps as you are, Anthony, but the things like Kia Boys, where there's lessons on, jacking cars and IRL GTA, in real life Grand Theft Auto, another trend on TikTok, or some of these stupid challenges like the Tide Pods and all. That's not happening on these other apps, and you got to ask yourself why.
Well, I will say this. I've seen all of that stuff on Instagram, and specifically in Philly with the Kia Boys stuff, there's been multiple Instagram accounts that Sergeant Mark Fu has told us about with these things. So it's not just a TikTok problem, but I will say it does seem less regulated at times.
All right, so when are you guys on again? When's the other side?
Tomorrow night, right?
Thursday.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, it seems like a lot of planning into this. Sometime tomorrow night.
No, we're gonna talk. We'll debate TikTok. We will talk about everything and more. The Eagles. We'll touch on every story, and of course, Robert F. Kennedy and Aaron Rodgers. We'll get into all.
Yes, this. I already have I can't say the name of it yet, what we're going to be launching soon in April here at the station. But boy, Aaron Rodgers, Dan, you should be making a move on that now.
That'd be awesome, right?
Yeah. Well, you might give me a tip where I throw it 50 yards.
Dom versus Aaron. Oh my God, we need that at Wildwood at Dom Day.
Oh, it'd be great.
Oh my goodness. There we go. Yes. All right. Thanks, Anthony. Thanks for giving us anybody on the DiRenzo side of the argument here. 855-839-1210. And this has little chance in the Senate. You already have any number of people trying to say, well, this would be authoritarianism if we do this. I thought we were pretty much in unison. And in the House, 65 people voted against this. How many of these people have ties or getting money one way or another through the Chinese? The communist Chinese are the greatest threat to the world in world history. Bigger than Nazi Germany, bigger than Japan at that point because of the nuclear weapons they have. And because I've never seen a group that drills down to the finest lines imaginable to go after America. I mean, look what they're doing. They decide to create an island in the middle of the China Sea. They make an artificial island, and they say you can't go anywhere near it. Look at them buying farmland here. Look at how many people they bought. All right, let's go to Chris in Chesapeake City here on Talk Radio 1210. Hello, Chris. Welcome in.
Hello. How long has the Anarchist Cookbook been out? That tells you how to build bombs and build things.
Yeah.
You are talking about how to steal a car. It's very easy to steal a car.
No. Wait a minute. That's just
all this stuff you can find on Google.
Yeah. Wait a minute, though. Is there any platform this powerful? How can you just go past the audience of this? How many kids and how many Americans potentially? And who is behind it, Chris?
The First Amendment.
But you know what? The First Amendment even has, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. This to me is obvious.
No, that's false. That is completely false.
That is not false.
You can too scream fire in a crowded theater. What if the place is on fire?
Oh my God.
Good point.
I'm saying, excuse me, that is wait a minute, that's sophomoric. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. I'll amend the statement. You tell me what you think.
That is wrong.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. If there is no fire, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater.
Yes,
no, you can't. Well, you're going to be locked up, and you should be.
Okay, Don, come to a movie theater with me and watch me scream fire and watch nothing happen.
All right, thank you. All right. My goodness. Who would have thought we'd be arguing you can scream fire in a crowded theater? I mean, anytime I say that in the future, I'll say if there's no fire. Okay, we're dealing with the communist Chinese here. You know, there is in talk radio, not Anthony, you didn't do this here. And it gets the juices going of a certain segment of listeners who want extremism on this. We're not going to turn into China, Dan. If we move them, they have to be part of an American company. An American company has to run it. In what universe is that like China? You know, some of these ideas, that kind of spin, as much as I love Rand Paul, I think he's wrong on this. There's not a constitutional right that we're going to commit suicide here. And as a society, we're committing suicide with the Chinese. They're using everything they possibly can against us.
It's a great line.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to, we have to step up with them at every level in every way, shape, and form. We ought to take away all the farmland they bought. What's the matter? You can't buy farmland here and yell fire on the farmland? No, you don't get farmland if you're connected with the communist Chinese government. Your spy balloon comes over, we're going to shoot it down in a nanosecond. I mean, how far do we go? This is like Krasner in Philadelphia. We're ignoring the existential threat to the world. That's the Communist Chinese Party. They've already killed us. I guess we don't believe in that anymore, the Wuhan virus. All right, so you guys will be on tomorrow night on this. Maybe you'll call in.
Sorry to kick the.
Oh, my goodness. So, due respect there, I amend that if there's no fire. I mean,
that was a very interesting call.
Yeah.
So it was like there was defense of, carjackings and then
saying
that he wanted to go to the theater. And
making this
I
idea.
would not advise doing that, sir.
The point is how widespread this platform. We're not saying it's some book here, there, whatever. I get that. We don't want to be censors. But this has risen to this level. All right, we got a lot on the Georgia election case. Let me give you the side question. This father judge thing and Lincoln dropping the game. I mean, how much before somebody connects the dots? How much before they say to the Dillons up there, all these Democrat representatives and state senators in Northeast Philadelphia, why do you continue to vote for them? Are you insane? The answer is yes. You continue voting for Democrats. You can't have a Thanksgiving Day game, Judge and Lincoln. Thanks to the listener. I'm going to act on all these things. We cover everything here, not just the national stuff. And this story is just another example. All right, Dan, this was yours. So today is National, or was it yesterday maybe?
Sometime this week it was.
Yeah, National Mortician Day. So we want to know today on the side question at the end of your call, if you're not setting fire to a crowded theater, a job that no one wants to do. Now, some people will do it, but I mean, we're playing with the idea of a very difficult job, not an easy thing to do. So, Dan, I'm going to take off the board two of them, prison guard and coal mine.
Oh, those are both great.
If I had to choose, I would probably choose prison guard over coal mine.
Yeah.
The coal mine thing, my God, you know what you're getting into with that.
It's rough too. Like
Yeah.
just what you're inhaling and.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
I'm going to take, how about Joe Biden's speechwriter off
All
the
right.
board?
Oh, I see. You're getting into the politics. Okay.
I know. I'm sorry.
I know that's okay because you know what? He deserves it. I was going to say Joe Biden's handler.
Yeah, that too.
That is
the job that someone nobody wants, but somebody's got to do it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And how about a trashman?
Oh yeah,
a garbage man.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. So 855-839-1210, National Mortician Day. Think outside the box. A job that nobody really wants. Maybe they do it. They can't find anything else. Maybe the pay is a lot of times the pay is not good. Is a large part of it.
Sometimes the pay is great. Can I throw one more out there?
Yeah.
Nobody, I don't think, really wants to climb, 40, 50 stories in the air to do steel work. But somebody's got to build these skyscrapers, and the money that they pay to do so, if you have that kind of chutzpah, it's a lot of money.
I'm looking across the street right out this window, and the guy, it's 10 stories up that he has this crane that he's working?
Yeah.
Man, it was windy on Monday. I hope they have a wind gauge. We're not doing it today, Dan. Just looking at that.
Some of those guys have to be thrill seekers, though. They got to want to do it.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah. And these guys are on the fourth floor, and now they're tethered to something.
Yeah, even the fourth floor.
Even the fourth floor. That's it. Yeah. All right, we're off to a rousing start. 855-839-1210. You get on board. Looks to me like the Georgia case against President Trump, 3 counts removed. How can the judge now allow old Fanny to stay in there with the boyfriend and not disqualify her? That case is dead. The case that's going to come up, Bragg, is not dead yet, but it's just an embarrassment. That leaves the other 2, and we'll talk about them throughout the show today, too. And if you're an alum of Lincoln or Judge, what do you make of this? Why do we submit to this? At least call Krasner out. If you feel it's hard to do anything about him, call him out. 855-839-1210.
I never thought of ever leaving, but you're holler.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
It's the time of year to enjoy your life. Hey, Dawn Stensland here. Stop letting that pain in your joints keep you from doing what you want to do this spring. Just call my friends at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking lasting joint pain relief. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. QC Kinetics is literally transforming lives. Their advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Pro athletes, they've been doing this for decades, but now this life-changing treatment is available for you, all of us. So you can walk, run, climb stairs, play golf, move again, pain-free. No risky surgery. QCinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients who are reclaiming their mobility. Live your best life this spring and summer. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000. Tell Dawn sent you.
Hello, America. It's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you don't have Consumer Cellular yet, now is the perfect time to switch and save. For a limited time, new customers can get wireless service for as low as $15 a month for your first year. Yep, the same exact nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for $15 a month for an entire year. What are you waiting for? Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and use code RADIO15.
See consumercellular.com/firstyear15 for promotional details.
Not all water heaters are made equally. Some can be temperamental. Some can be unreliable and don't even think about what happens if you have neighbors downstairs.
Why is it raining inside my apartment?
Not with a Navien tankless water heater. You'll never run out of hot water. You only heat water when you need it, saving you tons in utility costs. Navien tankless water heaters. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com to learn more.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it. I got the job. I can't believe it.
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, Audubon, tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
From the outside looking in.
Dom Giordano show. So, Dan, we must be off our rocker here to be in talk radio because Marjorie Taylor Greene voted against TikTok. And she cites the fact.
Anthony, way too excited to hear that.
Yeah. So it's Anthony and Marjorie Taylor Greene there. They'll be wearing hats. She said she was banned by Twitter, banned on my personal account. This was by American-owned Twitter. This came on the heels of our own United States government working with big tech and working with social media companies to censor and ban Americans' free speech. I believe this bill can cause future problems. Oh, here it comes, opening Pandora's box. And I've opposed the bill. Most Americans don't trust the U.S. government because of our experience. Never forget they had the Russia hoax. It also worked to ban America's free speech. It's worked in many ways to illegally, warrantlessly spy on Americans through FISA. And guess what, Marjorie? All true. But guess what? We have mechanisms. We're fighting back against it. It's not the same thing as this threat that has already murdered millions around the world by releasing the Wuhan virus. Or does Marjorie Taylor Greene think that's a hoax? That wasn't made up. It was the U.S. government. Anthony, you're in the same camp as Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Stop
buddy.
it. She listened to me. That's what it was.
Yeah,
She heard my
okay.
opinion, and then she went on the floor.
This is just drawing out the worst of some. Oh, here's a little bit of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
That has ever.
Now, look, and I understand some of you are afraid to call in, Dan, because President Trump now has turned and Kellyanne Conway. You can't be afraid just because you support Trump. That doesn't mean every syllable, if you don't agree with it, you're anti-Trump or Marjorie Taylor Greene or Kelly. I love Kellyanne Conway. I go to her for advice. We're trying to get her back on the abortion issue. She's obviously lobbying for this, though. One wonders why. Is there anything wrong with that?
She's got a great lead.
Okay, let's hear it.
I rise today as the only member of Congress that has ever been banned by social media. On January 2nd of 2022, Twitter banned me, banned my personal account on which I was campaigning for Congress, raising money, and using my free speech to inform the voters in my district they can vote for me. This was not by a company owned by China. This was by American-owned Twitter.
Okay, let's stop there. Let's stop there. And is American-owned Twitter now with Elon Musk proof you can make progress in this country versus China, right? Isn't that proof? We got Elon Musk to free this up, to buy the company. Is Elon Musk or Dorsey, the previous Twitter owner, Anthony, are they out there sending a virus that we still worry about onto the world? Are they out there threatening the NBA and everybody else and telling us to shut up just because we said free Hong Kong? Are they murdering people at rates that are unprecedented? The Uyghurs, slave labor. I mean, what kind of harebrained defense is this? Or am I missing something?
I really like your Twitter point. I agree with that. Anything can improve. So I stand with that. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, this idea of blaming the other American companies is a crutch. Now, I can't impugn her. She's kind of a purist. I've had her on the show. She was fine. I can't impugn her that she's getting Chinese money. I'd be surprised. I mean, well, I don't know. The Chinese work in funny ways. Can you imagine Marjorie Taylor Greene? You know, soon she'll be, if she says nice things about Eric Swalwell. By the way, Swalwell voted against this. I wonder if Fang has paid another visit here to Eric Swalwell. Go ahead, Anthony. I'll give you the last word on this.
It is a good point, saying that it can go in a way where we progress. I agree with you. This does seem a little weird from a money standpoint, especially with all these super PACs in an election year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who knows? Who knows? It doesn't matter if you're a conservative or a liberal. Why are people ending up on that side? I mean, there's reports now saying that Trump met with a donor who is in support of TikTok, and that's
has big stock in it.
Yeah.
It's a guy that you probably know I really like. And he's got a tremendous amount. We've had him on the show.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Jeff Yass, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Who I really am a fan of with a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, his company is in Bala. So
yes, and he's done tremendous work, particularly with inner city kids and school choice. But you know what? When
he's invested in ByteDance, that's why.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But when the person's wrong, I got to say the person's wrong. Trump is wrong. Kellyanne Conway's wrong. Marjorie Taylor Greene's wrong. Rand Paul even is wrong on this.
You never disagree with Rand Paul, I feel like.
That's very
yeah, that's rare.
Uncommon.
That's really rare.
Yeah, he's a brilliant guy, and he's most of the times on the mark. I just think he's taken it to the extreme to say this is a free speech issue, and we're becoming like the Chinese.
Well, he's very principled, just like I am, so I'm not.
Well,
shocked.
yeah, look, that one I respect. The others, Kellyanne Conway, come on, Kellyanne, you're better than this. How much, to lobby Congress on this? What's happened here? We were united on this. If this were a month ago, we would have been 90% of listeners. Suddenly, have they turned? Have they seen the light on this? All right, 855-839-1210.
Is it purely political? Like, is it a campaign strategy for them? Because
Right.
if they, I mean, there is the strategic portion of this that we haven't really hit yet, that Anthony, I don't know if you could speak to this, but if a younger generation sees an entire party trying to ban TikTok, is that going to be a bad look from a voter's perspective and going to lose votes because it just makes them seem out of touch, even though that's not the truth here?
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say, this just does coincidentally have kind of bipartisan support for once. And that, I don't know, in an election year, maybe is this them trying to get people to just young people already have been getting out to vote more with the abortion issue. Is this something that would launch everyone into voting, no matter what side? Would this motivate voters?
Well, I've heard some of the Trump strategists say, oh, you don't do this in an election year. That turns me off right there. things happen when they're ripe, when, it comes up before Congress. And I think if you're looking at this strategically and saying you can't do it now, that's the wrong way. You don't really believe then. I believe in my heart of hearts that China would murder every one of us in a heartbeat, the Communist Chinese Party. They would murder the rest of the world if they could and get away with it in a heartbeat.
I don't know. I look at it like the Batman versus the Joker. It's like, I don't want to kill you. I need you. What would I do? It's like the toxic couple.
I don't think they're thinking that way. Oh, okay. You know
so?
what? Maybe not kill us then. I refrained that. That's like fire in the crowded theater. They would enslave us.
They need
How
our
about that?
money.
They
Yeah,
would
I'll take
enslave us.
enslave. Sure.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Yeah.
I don't want that though. For the record, I don't want to be enslaved by China. I want that to be on the record.
Are you sure about that?
All right. Oh, let's go to Pete in Bluebell here on Talk Radio 1210. Pete's in the Dorenzo camp. Hey, Pete.
Hey, great show as usual. I think the government would love nothing more than to shut down Twitter and Truth Social to put an end to conservative social media. And I think this is just getting your foot in the door and say, hey, we're not picking on you. Look at us. We shut down TikTok, but you guys are spewing misinformation and all this. And
all right, well, Pete, let me just
to
stop you though, Pete. You don't see TikTok though as the threat that I do. Tell me why. And when you know who's behind it, what they're up to. TikTok's not like Twitter or Facebook or anything else that's out there.
No, but I think it sets a precedent that the government, if they don't like who owns, let's face it, they don't like Trump.
Okay, but
Trump
wait a minute. Then.
Social.
You must think then that China, Pete, should be able to buy farmland and land in this country and near military bases. Do you think they should?
Not even close. I think we ought to confiscate all the land that they've purchased already.
All right.
Well,
this is very similar. This is another product, a company. It's like land, Pete. And it's the same thing. You're taking away their right that every other country and person has to buy land. I agree with you. And we should take it back also. And I think TikTok is the same thing.
Well, I'm just worried. If I was convinced that this isn't going to set a precedent where next they turned on Elon Musk the second he opened up Twitter. They hate Trump. I just if I knew it wasn't going to set a precedent where they come in and try to shut down these conservative venues.
All right, and I would answer. I respect what you're saying, Pete. The answer to that is though, you cannot always not do the action that's correct just because there's some possibility out there. I would say it's very slim. Pete, do you have a job that no one wants to do?
Well, I think looking at this younger generation, I think there's hundreds of them out there because.
Yeah, I'm looking at two of them here in the producer's booth.
Actually, an answer we got on Twitter was Dom Show Producer is a job nobody wants and someone's going to do.
I put Pete down for that. That's outside the box. The producer's lounge here is crowded today. They're popping beers. It's noon. They can do that. I just look at the contract.
Doing here?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm doing post.
Yeah, you are a disgrace to the producers union here by actually working here on this show. He said, Dan, he's taking some spring training here with me to be ready for you tomorrow night on the Dorenzo. Dan Dorenzo, the other side, upside down, or it looks like Greek letters to me every time I see it.
It's backwards, Dom. It's backwards.
All right.
The other side, available on youtube.com/@1210WPHT, where we are streaming live right now, Dining with Dom. Go like and subscribe.
Here's the broader point that's interesting for talk radio outside, the outside world with listeners. If this were a couple of months ago, we had everybody in the world, Dan, let's ban TikTok, let alone give it to an American company. Now, all of a sudden, though, what's the change? Well, the change is, it seems to me, they hear President Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Kellyanne Conway, and a few others. And suddenly now we've turned away from this. I see this clearly. There are exceptions to survive here. And we're in a battle for survival against the Chinese. And TikTok is malevolent. Just think about it. The guy who called and said, what about the anarchist cookbook and yelling fire in a crowded theater? Come on. You're really telling me TikTok is not much different than that? Coming up, we'll
He
play
just wanted you to challenge him to do it. It's
Yeah.
like, no, we're not going to challenge.
I want to see you go to the movies with me.
Please, no, do not go yell fire.
All right, Dan, that's it's something you should be doing.
Do not
there.
do that,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. All right, 855-839-1210. Hit us with that job no one wants to do. Italia, my favorite destination in the world. That's Italy. It's called the Grand Event for good reason. Rome, Tuscany, Florence, Orvieto, Siena, Venice, Milan, the northern Italian lakes region. I can't say enough good stuff about that lakes region. 12 big days of touring, the kind of dining events that my tour company, Conservative Tours, is famous for in Italy. $53.71, that includes your airfare, the Colosseum, the Vatican, Trevi Fountain, Piazza Navona. Fully escorted by my great friends, the Conservative Tours team in Italy, Lorenzo, Romina, Giuseppe. Call them toll-free, 888-733-9494, or go to conservativetours.com. Tuscany beckons. It's time to answer. Florence, the history, the beauty. San Gimignano, bustling Siena. Then it's on to the grand finale. You will love Venice, Milan, the pristine resort of Stresa on Lake Maggiore, Bellagio, too. All that this fall in Italy. Here's what to do. Get all the info, conservativetours.com.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it. I got the job. I can't believe it.
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
When you look at your kids or grandkids, you can't help but wonder. You wonder what their world will be like in 20 years. Then you think about yourself. What will your life be like when you step away from work and into retirement? There are a lot of things you can't control, but with the right planning, there are some things you can. At Spectrum Wealth Partners, our Portfolio X-Ray is designed to show you how you're doing so far and what your monthly income will look like in the future. In other words, they can take you from wondering to knowing. So take control of your financial future. Call today for a complimentary evaluation. 856-322-8686 or at SpectrumWP.com. And tune into The Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen, Saturdays at 3 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Advisory services offered through Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, and Spectrum Wealth Partners are not affiliated companies.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you could even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at St. Matt's in Conshohocken, Saturday, April 6th, supporting Plymouth White Marsh High School baseball. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
Weather sponsored by Best Work Industries for the Blind.
The forecast will feel like May over the next few days. We'll have sunshine today with some high clouds. High temperature 20 degrees above average at 72. Mostly clear, milder tonight, low 48. And a warm day on Thursday, partly sunny, high 74.
Weather sponsored by Best Work Industries for the Blind. They're changing lives. A nonprofit organization in Cherry Hill, Best Work Industries for the Blind provides training and employment opportunities for people who are blind or visually impaired. For employment opportunities or to donate, go to bestworkindustries.org.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
All right, by most counts, today is the anniversary of all the lockdowns. So we'll feature that throughout. And Matt Rooney will be here with Dom at 2 o'clock today to talk about this 910-page report that costs $9 million just on New Jersey and what they did and didn't do during COVID. Dan, we got quite an entry. She never fails to... it's almost in the camp of Joe of Exton as far as on brand. Leslie Fishapine.
Yeah.
What does she have for the job that no one wants to do?
Well, she's been killing it on Twitter. Has a couple different answers.
Yes.
But the best answer that I think she needs to call in to claim as her answer today is the makeup person for The View. Could you imagine?
Oh,
it's terrible.
my
Putting on
goodness.
Joy Behar's makeup every day.
Maybe the executive producer.
A lot of eyeliner.
Imagine being in those meetings with Hostin, Anna Navarro.
Oh, yeah.
The fake Republican. How do they constantly? They're good at finding fake Republicans.
Do you think their ideas, like our show, taking you behind the scenes, I would say 95% of the ideas come from the host? Do you think The View, the ideas for their topics are coming from the hosts themselves, or do you think the team of producers are laying out, topics and the hosts are to talk about the topics that are directed by the producers?
I can answer that because if you remember when Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, was there and there was a COVID scare and she couldn't go on, they started asking people in the audience to ask a question.
That's right.
Because they didn't know what the hell to do.
Yeah, because the hosts were so incompetent.
There was like four of them.
They didn't know how.
All they had to do was kill like 11 or 12 minutes. To that point, don't you think they would have said, someday something can happen. The guest doesn't show up or whatever.
Like backup, right?
Yeah. Break this. They open it up and it's an evergreen thing they talk about.
Yeah.
Joy, what's it like being a comedian? Throw me in there for 12 minutes.
Yeah. Or let's have a 15-minute conversation of the changing dynamics of comedy with, a couple former comedians that are sitting right there on stage.
There you go.
You would think, nope.
Yeah. All right, so 855-839-1210. That is a very good one. Here is Ilhan Omar. And this is the other thing happening. Now, this isn't as bad as kids doing crazy things, killing each other, spying on us with TikTok. But this is where a generation is getting its news from. And listen to what she says, Ilhan Omar, about why TikTok is valuable.
One of the things happening on Capitol Hill this week, it's become a big point of contention, a ban on TikTok. You have, this might surprise some people, the same position as Donald Trump when it comes to banning TikTok.
And Anthony Dorenzo.
Does that feel a little weird to you?
I have the same position as the majority of Americans and TikTok users have. And, today we had an Intel briefing, and none of the information that was provided to us really was persuasive in the fact that there is anything to be really concerned that it's not concerning when it comes to Facebook or Twitter.
So when we just had one of your Democratic colleagues, Congressman Moskowitz, on the show last night, he suggested that, for example, when it comes to the Israel-Hamas war, that China is using TikTok's algorithms to ramp up divisions in this country. And that's one of the concerns that he has in terms of national security. Do you think there's any validity to that?
What I do think that people are finding discomfort is the fact that for the first time in our nation's history, Americans have access to real images of the horrors that are experienced by Palestinians daily. and the onslaught that is taking place, this horrific assault on Gaza, really is being streamed to every single person here in this country. So we no longer have to rely on legacy media to get that information. Every single person has the information directly from the mouths of the people who are being slaughtered.
So again, I'm going to go to, as bad as the legacy media is that she's talking about, I'm going to go to TikTok, the Communist Chinese Party, for their vision of what's going on in Gaza, how bad Israel is. This is what the defense is. And I would argue with a lot of these people, there are people well-meaning, First Amendment, I get that. I just think this shows you how bought and paid the swamp is. 65 in the House. A lot of these, even Republican senators, will not vote for this. And the reason is the reach of China is incredible. Be it Confucius centers on college campuses, be it TikTok, be it the farmland, be it the NBA. You know, again, they are all encompassing. They're not a rival. They're an enemy. They're an enemy to the world. That's what this comes down to. And the better that we disentangle ourselves from them, particularly with our medical supplies and things of that nature. And people are showing their true colors today. I don't know why Marjorie Taylor Greene is on this side. I guess if President Trump goes that way, she's got to go that way. That's the only thing that I can see. Let's go to Helen in Ambler on Talk Radio 1210. Helen, thanks for the wait. Afternoon.
Hi there, Dom.
Hi.
When I think about TikTok, it sounds sort of like Tokyo Rose from World War II, who was a propagandist.
Yes.
But my bigger concern is not is TikTok owned by China, but is President Biden owned by China?
Well, sure. Absolutely. That is a huge concern. And we have a remedy to that. It's called the next election.
Right. And it's not only President Biden, but the book that came out called Blood Money mentions some other well-known names.
Yeah, Schwerzer's book is compelling, how far it goes, how much Chinese money and connection behind the transgendered surgeries, for example. You talk about blood money. Sure.
Right. And Newsom, he had his trip to China where I believe he went to get his some money and some marching orders.
Well, look, that's why we have to strike a blow across the board, Helen. I mean, I see this just as a piece. It's not the only thing. You're right. And the best way that I illustrate it is I look at the enemy and I don't dismiss them. I see how crazed they are when all we had was one GM in Houston, NBA, say free Hong Kong. They shut down the NBA and the NBA stars turned on us and told us to shut up.
Right. And by the way, Dom, China is not entitled to the First Amendment right of free speech. That's a right reserved to Americans. China has no right.
That's well put. Absolutely. Yeah. If they want to yell, well, we're going to burn down the theater to yell fire. That's what we're going to do. Dan will give us Perry voted no.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Dan has the roll call coming up of who voted what. 65 voted against. It's not a ban. I don't know what word we would use. It's a transfer of it. TikTok will still be there, but an American company would be running it. Now, you could say it's a ban of the Chinese, which is a good thing. The Communist Chinese Party, yeah. We'll give you that rundown. Yeah, I'd love to hear what Congressman Perry, we really admire him. But we're seeing here very conservative people, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and very liberal people, Ilhan Omar, joined at the hip. Does that tell us they're principled, or does that tell us they're off the mark? Or am I off the mark? All right, great side question. I see a good one coming up here, too. A job that no one wants. 855-839-1210. You know, I've told you over the years about my great dentist friend and prosthodontist, Dr. Robert Bentz, my dentist of the Bentz Dental Group. Now, recently I saw Dr. Bentz and his staff for my latest dental appointment. The staff is second to none. I've told you about the dental hygienist, Maria, who is quite a taskmaster, even though very gentle. What a combination in doing your teeth. And Ro and I, Dan, are now, you should do this with Maisie. We're in a dogfight of competition of who's going to have the better dental report. Did you floss today? Yes, I did it twice. I lied once. I got an extra one in there. Don't let Ro know. Did you brush behind your teeth? All those things. She gave me 7 tips to start as part of my daily dental routine. And if it's been a while since your last visit to Dr. Bent's or any dentist, no judgment from anyone, you can tell Dr. Bob and his wife, Dr. Sarah, they set the tone for everyone. The entire staff keeps things running smoothly. Laura's the new office manager, Nancy, Madison, Shelby. You can get that beautiful smile you've always wanted. Visit bentsdentalgroup.com or call for that appointment today, 610-272-6949. That's the bentsdentalgroup.com. 610-272-6949.
For over a decade, NJ Diet has helped thousands of people lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. That's nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. NJ Diet uses your hair and saliva along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements to get you to shed that fat quickly. NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep the weight off. So call 855-5NJ-DIET or go to njdiet.com. Get ready for spring with njdiet.com.
Steamfitters Local Union 420 is a proud 120-year-old labor organization. We have been providing the emerging life science industry with the safest and most highly skilled steamfitters, welders, and HVAC service techs. Our members have been trained in all aspects of the life science industry so that our orbital welding and clean room procedures exceed the industry standard. Contact Steamfitters Local Union 420 for all your life science needs and visit our website for more information at lu420.com.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli, and if you want to make lifetime memories with your family and friends, you should book a getaway at My Happy Place, the beautiful oceanfront Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. Right now, book a June midweek stay and save. Stay 3 nights, you're going to get $60 a night in resort credit. 5 nights, $70 a night in resort credit. Stay 7 nights, you're going to get $80 a night in resort credits, and you can use those resort credits to eat and drink at Hemingway's restaurant, the outdoor pool bar, beach concession stand, or in the gift shop. Get passes to take your family on a whale-watching boat cruise. Book direct with them for the best rates. The Grand is also the perfect place to host a wedding, corporate events, baby and bridal showers, and more. With 4 ballrooms, they have the perfect space to make your event perfect. Just call them, ask for my friend Caitlin, and she will help you have your dream event. To book your stay today at the Oceanfront Grand Hotel of Cape May, call 800-257-8550 or visit them at grandhotelcapemay.com.
At some point today, everybody will use a bathroom. But if you're a contractor, there's an excellent reason why right now you could use a lot of bathrooms. It's the Great Bathroom Break at Colonial Marble and Granite, where every vanity you buy comes with a free stone countertop and free sink. Classic, traditional, contemporary, in stock for pickup or ready to ship. Choose a color and style, get a surface and sink, and you're good to go. So get going. Colonial Marble and Granite, the cornerstone of a beautiful home. Restrictions apply. Visit colonialmarble.net for details on their vanity special.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it. I got the job. I can't believe it.
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Calling on North Wales to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, time to your Dano show. Let's go to Joe of Exton, Dan. Let's save the rundown. I mean, when the man is here, we got to go to him. Let's find out what he thinks is the all-time job that no one really wants to do. Hey, Joe, good afternoon.
Yes. Hello, Dom. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Joe.
I would not want a job being the food taster for the leader of nations.
Yeah, that, there's an HBO show, Joe.
Do they actually have one?
Yeah, I don't think it's in your league as far as the arts, called The Regime, which is quite a hoot and a satire. Kate Winslet plays the woman that's the head of it, and there's multiple food tasters because they seem to get poisoned pretty rapidly. Good one, Joe.
No, thank you.
Thank you. I didn't hear him say who loves you, baby, but that's okay.
No, you want that?
Yeah.
I can end every call with that now.
You know what, Dan? That's not a bad. How do you get to be a food taster?
That would be a good job when it's not for the League of Nations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if the
like a Ben and Jerry's ice cream taster.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Well, I once interviewed the guy who is the Tasty Cake taster.
Who loves you, baby?
Yeah. And he was not heavy or whatever. He must have just had a go. I'm sure after years of it, though.
Did he actually swallow them though, like the Tasty Cakes, or did he just shuffle around them in his mouth and then spit it out?
No, he didn't spit it out. He said he ate a lot of them. Do you remember the guy? The scene? It was one of the great scenes in Breaking Bad. The guy who was involved in the drug company, the German company, and they were whatever. They begins with an M, I think. They were putting out various products. He was tasting the food and not saying anything, the new sauces they put in.
Yes.
And you had a team of scientists there. He's tasted it, chews it, moves it aside, puts another one in. It was pretty scary. All right.
Herschler.
Yeah, Herschler.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, we're coming up. A guy I met, Rich Tao, over at Inside Story. This guy is the definitive go-to guy of what's happening in the swing states. And I have the odds, Dan, of the VP choice for Robert Kennedy Jr. I won't give you the lead. Matthew McConaughey is 40-1. Imagine that guy being your VP choice. Oh my God. Kennedy is hurting himself with these choices, I think. Not helping himself, even though it's going to be interesting. And I want him in that race, in a 5-way race with the 3 minor parties and Biden, Trump. It helps Trump noticeably. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get in on Talk Radio 1210.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-329-2121. That's 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Hey, Dawn Stensland here. You've heard me talk about Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding, how much I love my new patio doors. You know by now, if I needed windows, doors, or siding, I'd only trust the Chapman team. If you're thinking of updating your current siding or removing your current stucco and replacing it with siding, think Chapman. With the new updated siding choices available, the curb appeal of your home will pop. If you currently have stucco, updating it with James Hardy plank or vinyl siding will truly add value to your home. If you're looking to sell, you can bet buyers will value updated new siding. And right now would be a good time to get ahead of the ball and plan your siding project for 2024. The certified Chapman installers are the folks you want on the job. If you or someone you know are looking for windows, doors, siding, stucco remediation, shutters, or hardware, give them a call or text them 610-431-8898, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Chapman, the name I trust. Tell them Dawn sent you.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Over 10 years ago, we realized how important saving family memories was, and we wanted to help. Legacy Box started from that passion and has now helped over 1 million families digitally preserve their film reels, VHS tapes, and photos. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. What started with the two of us in a garage is now over 200 trained professionals. Legacy Box is a safe and secure way to put all your favorite family memories on an easy-to-view digital format like a thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud.
We ship you a sturdy Legacy Box to fill with all your outdated media, safety barcodes to track your items throughout the process, and a prepaid mailing label. Legacy Box has been featured by Good Morning America and The Today Show. Not bad for two kids in a garage.
That's true, Nick. And here's the best part. We always wanted to make it affordable to preserve your entire collection, so we're offering 50% off.
Visit legacybox.com/value to take advantage of this exclusive offer. That's legacybox.com/value to save 50%. legacybox.com/value.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
It is Dom time. Got a great side question going on, and I have the odds of RFK Jr.'s possible VP choice. 1-to-1, Dan, is Aaron Rodgers. Wow. Jesse the Body Ventura, who I'm not a fan of, I've interviewed twice over the course of the years, and if it had been in person, he would have put me in a headlock.
I haven't seen him in a while.
He was living off the grid. You know, he's one of these guys, like some of the callers we may have had, that are purists on something and only they know. Marianne Williamson, oh my God, 14-1. Andrew Yang, that wouldn't be a bad choice for RFK, 25-1. Kanye West, 33-1. He asked Tulsi. She said no, according to reports. She's 40-1. Jessica Biel, 75-1. Rob Schneider, 100-1.
Schneider.
Rand Paul, he apparently asked, 125-1. Alex Jones, 150-1. Alicia Silverstone, 200-1. Charlie Sheen, 200-1. And Nicki Minaj.
What?
200-1.
No.
Any of those strike your fancy for talk radio's sake? That'd be interesting.
I mean, they'd all be interesting for talk radio's sake, but they're all jokes.
I think it could be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
I know
really?
he's committed to the Jets, but, you know, football doesn't, he's got training camp sort of, but he could still be out there. Now, for talk radio's sake, I'd like it to be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
We were kidding before the show and all about, what that'd be like. So we'll get into
Is the Pat McAfee audience big enough to actually swing anything in any direction for Rodgers? I mean.
Yeah, and the vaccine thing is already the vaccine thing with Kennedy. But I heard someone on CNN today say, oh, well, that might get more of the Trump voters if it's Aaron Rodgers. Look, we've been through this before. If you can get Trump, why do you want to knock off Trump? Because the guy could throw 70 yards? All right. Rich Tao is a great guest. He was on Inside Story last week when I was on. He's a president of Engages. His company is the industry leader in scientifically testing and refining the effectiveness of business and issue advocacy content moment to moment, which is tough to do. And he was on to talk about the swing states and how people view President Biden, how they view President Trump, particularly non-white voters, how they view Kamala Harris. Let's go to Rich here on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Rich, welcome in.
Great to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, Rich, and you did a great job there on Inside Stories. So I wanted to ask, has your company, Rich, do you have any thoughts before we get into the political stuff? Well, this is highly political. TikTok, because your company goes moment to moment. If this were a couple months ago, talk radio listeners here, 80%, I think, would say, yeah, let's have TikTok become an American company to curtail what's going on here. Today, I've been flooded, and we're seeing all kinds of people suddenly on the other side of this. Any thoughts on TikTok?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting question. I asked about TikTok some months ago when this initially came up as a topic. And to my best recollection, I have to go back into my notes. There's a real concern about Chinese influence in America. And I think the respondents were receptive to the idea of banning TikTok on balance. There's always going to be people who are upset that you're taking something away from them, even if it's in the best interest of American national security. And it doesn't surprise me that there's pushback on this. I mean, I saw the vote today. It was lopsided in Congress, but there was still several dozen members who voted against it.
65,
So,
Rich. Yeah, 65, and they're Ilhan Omar, but Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically, folks at the margins on both sides for the most part who are voting against it, and the ones who are benefiting most from TikTok in terms of their social media following, right? So, that's a large part of the conversation too. It's like, who wants to risk putting that in jeopardy if the government isn't able to force the sale of TikTok to an American company?
Rich, have you had the chance now since we last spoke and since we've seen the President Biden State of the Union, which Democrats yesterday said, well, this stuff from the special prosecutor is ludicrous. Biden's fine. No cognitive decline. We saw him at State of the Union in the swing states or otherwise, because the polling doesn't indicate that it moved the needle much.
Well, so you are very lucky. I did focus groups last night with 13 Trump to Biden swing voters across Wisconsin.
Ah, okay.
So I will share with you first, before we get to the president's physical and mental capabilities and how people perceive them. I will give you a scoop, which is that I had just read about Aaron Rodgers being a possible RFK running mate, and I asked that of 13 people in Wisconsin, whereas obviously he was a quarterback for a long time. And across the board, these people do not want to see him running for vice president of the United States.
Well, you should have asked him about Jesse Ventura, too. They would have said, who's that guy? So you think he wore out his welcome in Wisconsin, maybe?
He did. Well, first of all, most of these people were not excited about RFK Jr. to begin with, and this just compounded it. So I had 2 of the 13 people who would take RFK Jr. in a 5-way race with Trump, Biden, RFK, Jill Stein, and Cornel West.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, but that was 2 of the 5. Two of the 13 would take RFK, but none of the others would flip to RFK if Aaron Rodgers became his running mate. So just wanted to be clear. And so that was one thing. In terms of the State of the Union address and Biden, how he looked and how he sounded. So just to be clear, of 13 people, 1 person watched all of the speech, 7 others watched part of the speech, okay, and 5 watched none of it. And among those people, among the 8 who watched it, most had concerns about Biden's physical and mental stamina and his mental acuity. And the responses from them ranged basically from, I thought he did a great job, I was fine with the way he appeared. But a lot of the ones who were concerned said basically it was just 1 hour. They probably drugged him up, or he got a nap in before the speech, or basically they're okay with how he appeared in the speech, but their concern isn't about March of 2024. Their concern is about the next 4 years. And does he have the stamina to get through the next 4 years? So those are the things going through their minds. It's one speech. It helped him at the margins, I will say that, but it was nominal at the margins.
I think that's what I feel. And Rich, too, if I had to categorize you, too, at least in the interview you did here, too, you get it. You're a master of the 5 persons in the race. People keep on looking at just Trump, Biden. Sometimes they throw in RFK Jr. They forget the other 2, though, in a close place like Pennsylvania. I'm not sure about Wisconsin, how close that is, but, the last 2 elections in Pennsylvania have been very close. That matters. Jill Stein and Cornel West and RFK really matters.
Yeah, it really matters. And I'm glad you're raising this because I think people lose sight of this. It's extraordinarily important. So just to give you a sense, just of last night's numbers, of these 13 people I've been talking about, these Trump to Biden swing voters across Wisconsin. So I asked first in a 2-way race which way they would go. And it was 9 for Biden, 5 for Trump, which, by the way, is a higher number for Trump than I've been getting last year. So in the last 3 months, January, February, March, I've been getting much higher numbers of these people in a 2-way race taking Trump back. So that's the first thing that stands out. The second thing that stands out is that when you give them 5 options, it's not just Trump and Biden, 9 to 5, but 9 for Biden, 5 for Trump, but instead it's 5 ways. Trump goes from 5 down to 2. Biden goes from 9 down to 7. And what happens to those other 4 votes? 2 go to Kennedy and 2 go to Stein.
Interesting. Yeah.
So you got 4 votes peeling off of the major party candidates here. And that's a significant thing to be thinking about. And so I'm looking at this and I see this month over month. It's in different proportions. But there's a bunch of people. Let me sort of describe this to you. So there are people, and I had some last night, who cannot stand Biden and Trump. At the margin, they would take Trump, some of them. But when you give them Robert Kennedy Jr., they're like, oh, wait a second. I can get the iconoclast who pushes back against the establishment without all the Trump craziness. I'll take that. So that's part of what's going on. And then you've got with Jill Stein, they're like, she's environmental, she's concerned about certain things that these people are concerned about, and they don't have to take Biden's elderhood. So they peel off of him. And I think it's really important to understand, if your listeners to understand, this is not just a get out the vote exercise. This is how many people are siphoning votes away from Biden and how many people are having votes siphoned away from Trump.
Absolutely. And now, Rich, one other area that on Inside Story that is the wild card here, and you really laid it out, is that Vice President Harris. In other words, if there were more faith in Harris, some of the voters you talked about last week, then Biden being 81 and lasting through another term is not an existential problem for them. But when it's Harris sitting there, and she will be, they can't get her out of there, I don't think. That becomes an issue for voters.
It does. Well, I'll say, so the groups, I did these swing voter groups I just talked about last night. A couple of weeks ago, I did groups with African Americans across the state of North Carolina. And what I found in talking to them was that there's no love lost with Vice President Harris. Really across the board negativity. Now, for a number of them, though, they think that the administration has underutilized her. Part of it is that they don't know what she's up to. They haven't seen enough of her. They're not aware of what she's doing. Other people just in those 2 groups were very, very negative about her and what they felt about her. So, on balance, I don't think it's helping the president. She's helping the president. I'm not sure how much she's actually hurting. It doesn't seem as though a lot of the calculation is, wait a second, he's really old. If he can't serve, she becomes the president. I'm not sure a lot of people are going that far. When I get pushback about Biden, it's about his age. It's not about who would replace him. It's really interesting that it's not as analytical as generally as Republicans in particular are trying to make overt. So again, it's an open question to me. Her biggest problem, I think, is not what she's done, but what people don't know that she's doing.
Rich, putting all your acumen together now, say over the last 3 or 4 months, and you're the guy with really interesting subsets and really drilling down with voters. Are Are you convinced that illegal immigration is a number one issue? I still think in the end, it's inflation and connecting the dots to your own personal income, your own life. What have you found?
It's a head-to-head race. So, and last night, all 13 people told me that they're concerned about the situation on the southern border, which was really stunning to have that many people. All of them tell me that that's an issue. But when I asked them what their top issue was off the top of their heads before I got to immigration as a topic, we had inflation, 3 people saying was top. Immigration, 3 people saying was top. I had 4 people tell me that foreign policy was their top issue, Ukraine and the Middle East. I had a couple other random other issues that came up. So they're all sort of top of mind. They're all sort of vying for people's attention and their concern. And the thing that's really interesting about immigration as an issue, just to hit on it for a second, is I said to these folks, you live in Wisconsin. You're more than 1,000 miles from the Texas border. Why is this such an issue for you? And boy, it was like pulling a cork out of a champagne bottle. They were absolutely convinced that the people who came across the border, many of them had seen them in their towns in Wisconsin. They're concerned about health issues. They're concerned about fentanyl. You go down the list. So for them, it's not like, oh, this is just a Texas problem. This is these migrants are coming across the border and they're infiltrating the entire United States. And it's causing a huge amount of concern for folks, really profound. But that's also, again, vying for their concern about inflation and the cost of things that they have to buy, staples for their lives. And they're both very, very top of mind.
Absolutely.
Along with, again, overseas.
Maybe that's the emotionality and all that of the immigration thing and fentanyl. Maybe that's why when you talked about Trump voters that went to Biden coming back to Trump potentially, I think it would be that issue in the end. I mean, there's a clear difference in approach around that. If that's really what they're afraid of in their top issue, that's how I would think a lot of them might come back. Rich, when you take a look at these swing states, more broadly now, Pennsylvania seems to be the tightest race, or the race, every poll that I see, that indicates that Biden still has a slight edge here. People I respect like you and others looking at this, but I mean like 20 people. Whereas President Trump seems to have solidified himself in Georgia, definitely, and Arizona. Do you see it that way?
Yeah, I think that Biden's going to have a hard time in Georgia. I'm not so convinced about Arizona.
Okay.
And in part, that's because of the nature of the Senate race going on down there and having Carrie Lake as a Republican nominee for the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really interesting question. I can tell you from doing focus groups with Arizona swing voters, those people detest Carrie Lake. It is palpable and it is extreme. And they've lived with her for years. They knew her as a TV anchor person, and she burned a ton of bridges by casting doubt on the election and just never let go of it, and claiming that there was election fraud when there wasn't election fraud. They were just absolutely, she is despised there by these swing voters. And I think she's in a tough spot, and I'm not sure what the effect is going to be on former President Trump having to run with her in that state. And so that to me is an important question about Arizona. But Pennsylvania, incredibly tight. Michigan, incredibly tight. Wisconsin, incredibly tight. And as you know, in the last election, it was 3 states that determined the outcome of the election. If 44,000 people in Wisconsin, Arizona, and Georgia had gone the other way, Trump would be president today. So that's out of 155 million votes cast. 3/100ths of 1%.
Well, we're working on it here in Pennsylvania. I tell you that, Rich. We know the presidency goes through here. Where do we find you at Engages, Rich? Where do people go?
So if people want to look at the videos from the Swing Voter Project, that's the best place to go. Just go to swingvoterproject.com. That's swingvoterproject.com. Then you can access all my other stuff through there.
Thank you, Rich. To be continued. Thank you very much.
Great being on with you. Thank you.
Rich Tao here on Talk Radio 1210, 855-839-1210. So Aaron Rodgers, not popular in Wisconsin, Dan, at least with these swing voters. Coming up, I'm going to play NFL Network mocking Aaron Rodgers. And I want to talk about the world of sports, Rodgers, and all this. And Dan, what's your gut instinct on this? Would he really pick Aaron Rodgers to be his VP? I think it's Ventura. I don't know that Rodgers can do it and still play for the Jets unless he's going to quit.
I don't think Ventura moves any needles. But
Yeah,
I
you
also
don't know
think
him,
it's
right?
Rodgers.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
I don't see how Rodgers does any. I don't know. I don't think the only voters I can think of him trying to capture is the young male voters who are the mass audience that tunes into the McAfee show that's kind of swung ESPN into a different direction than they were going.
Reluctant voters that might come out because of Mike Rodgers.
But I also think they do siphon off more Trump voters and Biden voters if he does go with Rodgers because of the stance on COVID. It's strange. I don't know. Someone that I would have loved to see him run with, but I know it's impossible, would be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, he can't run for, can't be in that line.
VP, but I feel like they're friends behind the scenes.
And he did ask Rand Paul. That seems to be without a doubt. And Rand is sticking in the Republican Party. I mean, he's not going to be a VP choice. He did ask Tulsi Gabbard. I think he asked one other person that Trump might have picked. So here's how you get in. 855-839-1210. Hit us with that job on National Mortician Day that no one else wants. 855-839-1210. That's pretty good stuff from Rich Tao as far as, what's happening here in these swing states. I still think Pennsylvania, in the end, is going to call the tune. I'm surprised what he said, that Wisconsin is very close. I thought Biden needed that as a lock, but apparently it's very close. Let's talk Captain Chucky's, though, for a moment. Lent, college basketball viewing party madness, St. Patrick's Day parties, this weekend, Easter, March 31st, all that. March has a lot going on. Get all of your seafood needs and more taken care of with just one call, Captain Chucky's Crab Cake Company, and place those orders or just stop in. You got to try the new Bang Bang Jumbo Lump Crab Cake. Delicious, creamy, 5-ounce jumbo lump breaded crab cake with a kick for those who like to spice it up with some heat. Check your store for availability. Important to call them up. And this is the perfect time to check out Captain Chucky's offering delicious stuffed mushrooms, various salads, desserts, all of that there. Captain Chucky's always has several choices of breaded, non-breaded crab cakes. Literally a crab cake for everybody. Dessert, soup, sides, appetizers. They use only the highest quality ingredients. Their Gulf shrimp is a huge hit. It's always wild caught, never farm raised. And my favorite, that delicious Dom rolls. So visit Captain Chucky's today. There's a location near you. Just visit WeLoveCrabCakes.com. WeLoveCrabCakes.com.
Dom Giordano.
John Wildwood, Dan, is a guy that comes to mind. I'm sure he'll get over there. Wherever the Walk of Fame is, I think I know where the parking lot is. It's near La Cucina on Pacific. One of our salespeople apparently believes that my star is on that Walk of Fame, Dan.
You have a star?
Right next to Chubby Checker.
No.
Oh, my God. All right. Is he going to be anywhere in the summer nearby?
July 14th, he's in St. Charles, Illinois with a dance floor.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's Dom time. Dom Giordano. Weekdays noon till 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
We are Nick and Genevieve Roberts, and we've been with Crash Proof Retirement since 2019.
With Crash Proof Retirement, we have no worries whatsoever. We can't lose money. You only keep making money. Come home and tell your wife, hey, we made money today. You never have a bad conversation.
The next market year, they're predicting inflation and recession, and you won't have to worry about any of that. I wake up a lot happier not worrying about my retirement.
One of the other great things about Crash Proof Retirement is the interest that we earn going forward earns interest on itself. If I left that money in the bank, you're lucky if you get 1%. And since you can't lose money with Crash Proof Retirement, I never get blamed for losing money.
Learn how you can outperform the markets with no risk of loss at Spring Mill Manor on March 19th. Registration is required. Call 800-722-9728 or visit crashproofretirement.com.
You know what happens when a smart group of medical professionals get together and commit to a technology designed to relieve your aching joints without surgery? is called QC Kinetics.
And this guy knows the power of a solid team. Emmitt Smith, football legend and Dancing with the Stars champ.
This elite medical group, some of them orthopedic doctors, got together and said, why are we prescribing so many medications? Why are we sending so many people to surgery in droves? Let's change this.
The answer? Natural biologics, our own healing properties. And the outcome is the country's largest provider of non-surgical regenerative treatments, QC Kinetics.
Actually, the real outcome are the tens of thousands of patients who finally got their quality of life back without surgery, thanks to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
20% All right, Tom Giordano Show. Welcome in, 855-839-1210. So here's the NFL Network mocking the Aaron Rodgers choice. And I'm not sure if Dan's in agreement with me. It just is stunning to me over the years how, they're not woke, but how much they follow the, look, Aaron Rodgers is not completely without blame. And some of the stuff he said, it was, hiding stuff around the vaccine mandate, et cetera. He is kind of weird. And I've never understood, maybe the Packers just weren't that good, because to me, he throws the greatest ball of any quarterback in history, Dan. I don't know if you think that. In the air, you can tell it, and it's pretty soft, even though he has a powerful arm. You know, there's some guys that just throw the ball so
I don't know
hard.
if he's the best in history, though.
A lot of people think that.
Like Dan Marino had an amazing arm.
We had the quickest release. Yeah, but
Peyton Manning, beautiful accuracy.
He's more functional. Same thing with Brady.
Peyton Manning, beautiful power.
Yeah, this guy is just one of a kind, but it must be something a little bit off. So here's NFL Network hearing that RFK Jr. might pick Aaron Rodgers as his VP.
Once again, Andrew, I will apologize on behalf of all of us for the performance, the communication, through the course of 7. It was probably because right before we came on, I was reading a story about Aaron Rodgers potentially becoming vice president. And, the good news, elections on a Tuesday, that's normally players' day off. Right. So he'd be available to watch, the results roll in. There it is, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Let's say, all right, go back like 5 years. And let's say you just had a Mad Lib of something I'd be tweeting on the second day of free agency. How about Robert F. Kennedy has recently approached Jets quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, Jets quarterback, and Jesse the Body Ventura about serving as his running mate on an independent presidential ticket, and both have welcomed the overtures, according to the New York Times. Jesse Ventura elected Minnesota governor when I was a senior in high school, and all my idiot 18-year-old friends were like, yeah, Jesse the Body, this is funny, let's vote for him. And he won. Wrestler. So don't laugh at the idea of Aaron Rodgers as vice president. This is one of those George Costanza driving to the Poconos moments where it's like, I'm really going to go be vice president. Anything can happen, Andrew. I mean, back to you, frenzy. Let's go.
As long as he's not Surgeon General, I can't wait for the.
Okay, let's break that down now. Let's not be overly sensitive. I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers was entirely cogent about vaccine and vaccination, okay? But these guys, you talk about taking the party line here now that we're 4 years after it. I think the question has to be asked, was mandating this the way to go and all the turmoil that happened around this? Would these knuckleheads be able to debate that with Rodgers or anybody else? And I'm not saying Rodgers is the paragon of this. He's pretty strange around this. But why would Rodgers have to have been vaccinated? What have we learned that would tell us that he had to be vaccinated? I think is an open question here. And we are on the anniversary of this. Matt Rooney's going to be here, 910-page report in New Jersey talking about the schools and what Jersey did and everything else. 910 pages, $9 million it cost. What conclusions do we have from this? I'll give you the biggest conclusion. Dan, the media just doesn't have the instinct that you and I have. Or we have to believe they're completely in the tank. I believe the first. You can tell me. Dr. Damsker, to me, is still locally the biggest story coming out of COVID. What this man did, he came on with us. He was very sober. He was very buttoned up. And he said, yep, the 3-foot rule, that'll be okay with schools, et cetera, right? What happened to him as he started to get a following? Some idiots who was not a public health official.
Good afternoon.
The good afternoon woman jumped in, calls up the commissioners over there. Come on, Diane, come on the show and deny it. And they, Bob Harvey or Harver or Bob Harv. Harvey. Yes, Ray. Like Reshlos knows him. Hooray, Reshlos. They put him in the basement. He's still the public health guy, but he's incommunicado. How did that happen? Does the media not care about that story on anniversaries? I wonder what Dr. Damsker is doing these days. Well, he doesn't seem to be able to speak about anything. Why was he the guy that people were following? You know why? Because he was great at it. He was buttoned up, and he was allowing life to go on as best we could versus those who essentially said, no, we got our money. We got our position. You know, Dan, who I remember the most? That clown, that doctor out there, the stooge of Valerie Arkush in Montgomery County. Remember, they shut the schools down. We didn't have any problem. This was right before Thanksgiving break. And he said, you got to be like Wayne Gretzky. Don't look at where the puck is now. Look at it where it's going to be. So they shut the schools down. Private schools had to shut down too for 2 weeks because of Wayne Gretzky. Those are some of my memories. Do you have a moment, Dan, that you remember? Maybe the first day they told me I couldn't broadcast from here. I had to go home. You were like, oh, thank God.
My biggest memory, I think, was, who was it? Rudy Gobert on the microphone,
yes.
Making the cough, and that kind of led. I think that was what really kicked off the absolute
frenzy.
The frenzy,
Yeah.
the welcoming of hate towards those who wanted to,
he's
speak
an
out
idiot.
against the
What
vaccination.
he did was out of
completely,
bounds. Yeah,
completely
complete
idiot.
idiot.
But
Yeah.
it kind of labeled the rest of anyone who wanted to speak out against it as some
Yeah.
kind of moron who wants to spread the virus, and it's just not true.
Yeah, exactly right. So the moment you remember, particularly if it's local, Valerie Arkush, who now heads up a large swath of state government. Remember, she put in the rat line, calling rat on these businesses just trying to survive.
I mean, remember over in Jersey, the gyms and the hairdressers that we had. They had to shut down. They had to operate in their parking lots.
Yeah,
and the hairdressers had to put up dividers between their chairs. And
right, the Attila's gym, though. Remember, they came in with force, like SWAT teams, to go there. Yeah. All right, 855-839-1210. Hit us with one of those. There's just a few things. Damsker is one that jumps out at me, though. It's appalling. And here's what, look, I know a good story. I know something. I'm being flooded here with people sending me emails, Dan, about the father judge, Lincoln not playing stuff, okay? And some of the stories behind it, et cetera. The media going to pick up on these things? No, they're too busy with busy work type of stuff. Don't they want to ask the question of now, if the local TV and all and Inquirer, I bet if they asked the commissioners over there, they would talk with them. What would they tell them? Why is Dr. Damsker a hero of this? He was voted the person of the year. Meg Brock the next time. We said, what is it with Bucks County? All these people from Bucks County. What happened to Dr. Damsker? That guy was so reassuring and so much about reopening society. He was right. They weren't right. Yet, they voted them into office overwhelmingly again in Bucks County. Why? They said you can get an abortion on our watch. That's what we want. We want abortions. It's amazing, isn't it? Just say the magic word. Our opponents are against getting you all those abortions. We're going to let you have all those abortions. All right, Steve in Langhorne is next on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Steve, good afternoon.
How you doing?
Good.
You're talking about this, this onset of COVID and all this other crap. When I had a liver transplant on New Year's Day. Not this one, the third one back.
Okay.
And man, they were up my tail. And it was just when that lady that was out in like Colorado couldn't get her kidney transplant. And I'm thinking, and they had to send her to like Arizona.
Right.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, they're going to do this to me. They're going to make me get this shot. And they're going to pull some kind of mojo on me. And Jefferson, they didn't do it.
Well, good for them. And Steve, the other thing you bring up too, and I'm glad it worked for you, your transplant, is how many people were told they couldn't get colonoscopies or some cancer screening or whatever, and they ended up having severe health consequences from all that. That's one of the biggest casualties out there.
Yeah, I don't know, but man, they were calling me at work. I mean, I was working. I wasn't like someone. I had a bad liver, obviously, but I was like working. I'm a stonemason, and I was, kicking it in the butt. And they were calling me, and my director, beautiful people. Don't get me wrong. They were just doing their job, but man, the pressure. Yeah. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, man, they're going to tell me at the last minute that I'm not going to be able to get this thing.
Well, I'm glad it worked for you, Steve. Thank you. Thanks, Steve, very much. That's what we're looking for. But here locally, we had a lot of action. Damsker, I mentioned, is the one that jumps out the most. People like Megan Brock came to the fore. We had all kinds of parental things. Souderton, we remember, what was the secret sauce? Why were they able to stay open? Remember how creative they were. Of course, the Philadelphia Public Schools said, just go home. It doesn't matter anyhow. We were a failure. So what's the big deal? That's essentially what they said. All right, 855-839-1210, you get in. Hey, FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, is putting the ball in your court for the rest of the NBA season, because right now, new customers, you get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 if your bet wins. Bet on the NBA with a wide range of bet types, including quick bets, live same-game parlays, player props, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/Dom, D-O-M, and make that first bet a layup. FanDuel is the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus. Present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it. I got the job. I can't believe it.
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at St. Matt's on Fayette Street in Conshohocken, Saturday, April 6th, supporting Plymouth White Marsh High School baseball.
It was fun. 100% every time. It's spectacular. Joe Conklin's awesome.
Hysterical.
Super funny.
Hysterical.
I love the horns. Oh my God.
Really enjoy it.
That's Joe Conklin's comedy show at St. Matt's on Fayette Street in Conshohocken, Saturday, April 6th, supporting Plymouth White Marsh High School baseball. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Lose 20 to 40 plus pounds guaranteed with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into their radio show Sundays at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
Hi, it's John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, a live call-in show airing every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. on WPHT. What would you do to protect yourself this cold and flu season? Well, medical hydration therapy at Innovative Medical Associates could help to boost your immune system. That's because vitamin C and other key nutrients are delivered intravenously right to your cells. Medical hydration therapy may even lessen symptoms should you become ill with a virus or suffer with long COVID or post-COVID conditions. Dr. Molly Fantasia at Innovative Medical Associates prescribes a personalized treatment plan for every patient.
We are a medical facility. We treat our IV protocols or our hydration protocols as a medical modality.
Learn more about the benefits of medical hydration therapy at innovativemedicalassociates.com. And be sure to join Dr. Molly and me on Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 for Health Watch on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Weather sponsored by Budget Blinds. The forecast will feel like May over the next few days. We'll have sunshine today with some high clouds. High temperature 20 degrees above average at 72. Mostly clear, milder tonight, low 48. And a warm day on Thursday, partly sunny, high 74.
Spring is coming, and now is the time to budget. Budget Blinds is your one-stop shop for blinds, shades, shutters, custom drapery, and motorization. Visit budgetblinds.com for a free in-home consultation and the only no questions asked warranty in the business. Budgetblinds.com.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
All right, Tom Giordano Show. Welcome in, 855-839-1210. So I've always butchered her first name, Dan. Hill, Jamela Hill. It's Jamela, right?
Jamel.
Jamel. Okay, I'll go with Jamel. Jamel Hill.
Jamil Hill?
Yeah, who has been involved in any number of sports commentary around race, now is leading the charge today because of Aaron Rodgers on the short list of RFK Jr. to be the VP pick, blaming Trump and saying because of Trump doing this, now people are making a joke out of these important offices, and so many people think they could do it. It's terrifying.
Oh, God.
It's not terrifying. This is exactly what we need. The country is tired of morons, by and large, like Joe Biden, just hanging around for 50 years inside the government, inside all the phony traditions and nonsense. And that makes you qualified? Now, I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is necessarily someone that you can point to a lot of things, but that's up to the voters. That's up to running for election. What really qualifies Joe Biden? What would qualify Nikki Haley? What would qualify any of these people who are just knowledgeable, maybe, of a bit of the nuts and bolts of government? But really, is that what it's about to be president? I don't think so. I think I've interviewed over the years any number of people that could do that better than a Biden or people like that, or Hillary Clinton, who have just said, well, I've been in government. I understand what a president should do. Really? Dan, you said you have a little bit of that?
World looks like right now. And it would be amusing if it weren't also terrifying, and if it weren't also meaning that we were picking, arguably the most important leader in the world. When you look at all the things that have happened, I mean, we have a presidential candidate who's running, who is facing 91 indictments, who owes so much.
Wait a minute. Stop that tape. 3 were knocked off today. Keep up. It's 88 indictments now. Let's be accurate.
Liable rape allegations because of what he owes, the state of New York. I mean, like, there's so much there that you now look at the possibility of Aaron Rodgers being a serious vice presidential candidate, and say to yourself, well, it's not the weirdest thing that we've seen, because look at our current politics. So there are some jokes to be made, but there's also a part, I think, running through everybody's mind is saying, like, okay, this is jacked up, but I could actually see it happening. Maybe not in winning, but like this seriously becoming a campaign.
Okay, let me make a point here. When I look at Aaron Rodgers, as limited as he might be in certain experiences, etc., and I look at the current vice president, I'm not saying this just to say it. What recommends Kamala Harris? What is it that would recommend her to be president, as vice president, potentially taking over? The American people don't see it. Yeah, well, Aaron Rodgers wasn't an attorney general unnecessarily prosecuting people under marijuana laws to make her name, being involved with the most powerful man in the state of California, Willie Brown, to advance, then being a senator put in there fulfilling affirmative action and really fulfilling it to be the VP choice. Yeah, I guess, well, Dan, you have a little bit more too of Ms. Hill making the point about President Trump, how Trump being elected has really sullied the process here.
Yeah, no, if anything, you could say I took it easy. I mean, really. I mean, calling him a white supremacist is the least of the troubling things that we have come to later discover about Donald Trump. But unfortunately, the unfortunate part of his presidency, and there are many unfortunate parts, but one of them is that now I think a lot of people feel like they can do the job, that they deserve to be in political office because he won. And because now he's considered he's obviously the GOP frontrunner. If you're Aaron Rodgers, regardless of the numerous idiotic things that you've said, why would you think you don't have a chance at this?
All right. So I see this as exactly what part of the appeal of Trump, the freeing up of this outside the box. Same thing with, what has Robert Kennedy ever done? He hasn't held any political office. He grew up in a political family. He's been a lawyer. He's been very active in big issues. Why can't he run? He can, and he's getting a lot of support. Why are these people so limited and locked into this idea that it has to be the Bidens of the world that should be president? 855-839-1210, you get a line. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all you have to do is just push pound 1210. By the way, a grand jury has indicted the brother of the Riley murder suspect. Why is that important? Well, it's important because, again, we'll be lectured, I'm sure, that people here illegally commit almost no crimes. Yeah, we're buying that. So here's another indictment, and this is around various things that he's engaged in. 855-839-1210. You get on board. Hey, are you looking for a way to boost energy, support your heart, and age with grace? Well, it's time to check out Oracene from Rescue Natural Supplements. Oracene provides essentials our bodies need to naturally combat fatigue and increase stamina without the high sugar, caffeine, and unhealthy ingredients common in superficial energy sources. Plus, Rescue Oracene supports healthy blood pressure and cardio function. Now, for a limited time, our radio listeners can take advantage of this really good special. Buy one, get one free on Rescue Oracene. Just use the code FUEL when ordering to get this exclusive deal. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code FUEL online at res-q.com. That's res-q.com. Remember that code, FUEL, F-U-E-L. Buy one Oracene, get another free. That's res-q.com. Stay fueled and fit with Rescue Oracene.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT presents our 7th annual Radiothon to benefit the Travis Manion Foundation. Join us all day Friday, March 22nd. All money raised will go directly towards empowering veterans and families of the fallen to help find healing and unite communities through service. Listen for special guests and exclusive offers, all to help the Travis Manion Foundation. Friday, March 22nd, only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the Odyssey app. Thanks to our sponsors, Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter, PA Link to Aging and Disability Resources, Delaware County, and Hoffman's Exterminating,
Quality service and personalized care for over 34 years. Trust Hoffman to rid your home and business of unwanted pests.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Make lifetime memories with your family and friends when you book your stay at the beautiful Oceanfront Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. Book a June midweek package and save. Stay 3 nights, receive $60 a night in resort credits. Stay 5 nights, get $70 a night. Stay 7 nights and receive $80 a night. Use your resort credits on purchases in Hemingway's restaurant, the outdoor pool bar, beach concession, or in the gift shop. Book direct with them for the best rates. Call 800-257-8550 or visit them online at grandhotelcapemay.com.
Spring is in the air. If only I could grow money.
That's not a hard thing to do.
Wait, what?
I opened a growth savings account at First Harvest Credit Union. I'm earning as high as 3.5% annual percentage yield, and I have flexible access to my funds. I watch my money grow every day.
Growth savings account.
Visit firstharvestcu.com or your nearest branch to open or get details. First Harvest Credit Union, serving the Delaware Valley for over 84 years. Membership restrictions apply, insured by NCUA.
Okay, gentlemen, listen up. Are you in need of that added spark in the bedroom? Could you use a jump start without turning back the hands of time? If so, I've got the answer for you. BlueChew.com, promo code 1210 for your first month free. That's right, BlueChew.com. Use the promo code 1210 for the first month free for a free male enhancement. The great people at Blue Chew offer a unique, one-of-a-kind online service that delivers men the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable tablet at a much cheaper price. That's right, free. Just pay $5 for shipping when you use the promo code 1210 at BlueChew.com for your first month free. And now Blue Chew comes in a mint-flavored chewable with the same active ingredient as Levitra. Stay fresh with Blue Chew. Confidence plus performance comes standard with Blue Chew. No embarrassing conversation, no pharmacies, right to your door in discreet fashion. BlueChew.com. Promo code 1210 for your first month free.
Over 10 years ago, we realized how important saving family memories was, and we wanted to help. Legacy Box started from that passion and has now helped over 1 million families digitally preserve their film reels, VHS tapes, and photos. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. What started with the two of us in a garage is now over 200 trained professionals. Legacy Box is a safe and secure way to put all your favorite family memories on an easy-to-view digital format like a thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud.
We ship you a sturdy Legacy Box to fill with all your outdated media, safety barcodes to track your items throughout the process, and a prepaid mailing label. Legacy Box has been featured by Good Morning America and The Today Show. Not bad for 2 kids in a garage.
That's true, Nick. And here's the best part. We always wanted to make it affordable to preserve your entire collection, so we're offering 50% off.
Visit legacybox.com/value to take advantage of this exclusive offer. That's legacybox.com/value to save 50%. legacybox.com/value.
Free speech lives here with Rich Zioli, afternoons 3 till 7. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
It's Dan time
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says.
with Dom.
That's right. It's that time of the afternoon that producer Dan takes over the Dom Giordano program. And Dom, the voter roll is in. And I just hand it over to you for those who voted against this TikTok ban. I just, we were talking during the break. It's really the fringes of both the left and the right voting. Any names stick out to you that voted against the TikTok ban there, Dom?
Well, yeah, Perry. Scott Perry, but he's on the, the far right side of things. Like him a lot. Massey doesn't surprise me. Libertarian approach in Kentucky. Omar. Nobody. Nadler. Now it seems to me to be a definite influence there, Dan, somehow or another.
Yeah.
With Nadler.
Swalwell.
Fang. Nancy Mace. Nancy Mace is always glomming on to something. Can't trust her.
How do you Brendan Boyle, Cory Bush, and Matt Gaetz voting together?
Oh, our buddy. Wait a minute, Dan. You gave me the lead there.
Yeah.
Brendan Boyle, little Brendan from Northeast Philadelphia. So Brendan thinks everything is cool with TikTok here, Dan. You think the Philadelphia Inquirer and others might ask him extensively, not just one question, but the follow-up on why Brendan Boyle. Are there going to be a lot of opportunities for the communist Chinese up there on the boulevard? Keep your eye out for that.
Also, Pennsylvania Summer Lee down there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, radical.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders type.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then Perry, PA is the
Yeah.
final one. So, Dom, some sad news if you're a fan of dollar stores, which aren't really dollar stores anymore, are they? They all cost a lot more than just
Yes.
a dollar.
Yep.
But Family Dollar announces, and Dollar Tree are going to be closing 1,000 stores, Dom. Any reason why that you could think that this is happening?
Well, I think it's having to do with inflation.
Yeah.
To your point, they started being $1.50 or whatever they tried to do, Dan. And I guess they can't stay at that level.
Yeah, the decades high inflation has hit shoppers hard. This is coming from CNN Business, and a general consumer pullback has impacted Family Dollar customers and the chain's profits, exasperating its battle with discount competitors such as Dollar General, Walmart, and others. And it seems like a Dollar General is popping up everywhere, every corner.
Right.
They continue to grow huge.
I mean, give me time. I'll blame Biden here. And I'm proud of that. But, every time at the supermarket, Dan, we find something that's outrageous. I just go to Rose. She looks at me. I know what you're going to say, Biden. She keeps walking.
A little factoid about this, though, that does play big into it. Years of mismanagement and poor conditions in storage did hurt Family Dollar's brand. Family Dollar, owned by Dollar Tree, was recently fined more than $40 million for a rat infestation at a warehouse that forced hundreds of stores to temporarily close. So there is that. But on the other side of things, Dom, a company that's doing so well that their products are trendy, it's Trader Joe's. They're offering $3 mini totes that have been eaten up by Californians in particular and listed on eBay for like $90 up to $999 for a pack of all 4 colors, because I guess they're a limited edition and there's like collectible colors or something.
I was in there once. It's cute. Dan, I just got a gripe, though. You don't go home that way. I go down 22nd Street in the lane that I'm usually in, the left lane, to get on the drive, right?
Uh-huh.
People have trouble turning to make the light because there's a lot of people walking at 22nd and Market there. The other lane, the other day, was backed up past the light. It must have been 50 cars waiting to get into that parking lot.
Yeah. I don't get it. There's like some kind of cult following for Trader Joe's.
And this is 3:30, 3:45 in the afternoon.
Like, I know the peanut butter puffs are very good that they sell, but it's not that good.
It's the cuteness. They got somebody in there, a traffic cop, telling you can come forward now. They play into that. But the magic of it is just hard to believe.
There's some kind of weird that they offer like products only in their stores too that are like have a cult following. Like I think everything, our bagel seasoning is one of them, and Maisie loves their frozen chocolate covered fruits that they offer. But yeah, doing well, Trader Joe's. But that line is always out there in 22nd. But Don, that's all I got for Dan Time today.
All right, coming up, Matt Rooney joins us because I saw on Matt's Twitter today, of all days, lockdown day, a 910-page report that cost $9 million about New Jersey, what they did and didn't do, particularly in schools. And Matt called out a couple of real glaring things from that. I don't know, Dan, where do you think Matt's going to go on TikTok?
I think it might be on the opposite side.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. What are we missing here? 855-839-1210. You get on board. Brendan Boyle. Come on, Philadelphia Inquirer. Do your job. Ask Brendan about the communist Chinese and TikTok. You know, what's that about with him? The squad all voted for TikTok and against America. 855-839-1210. You'll get in next on Talk Radio 1210.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-329-2121. That's 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
If your child needs support, special tutoring, and custom instruction, METC is here to help. Now's the time to make the call to Kathy Ganna and METC. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. For over 30 years, METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Ganna, has helped people of all ages to grow personally and academically. Call Kathy today at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. Call 215-493-4200. Now's the time to get assistance for your child to help them succeed. Visit online at METC.com. Call METC's tutoring studio today at 215-493-4200 or email Kathy directly at info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. Call 215-493-4200. That's 215-493-4200.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Venaria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Venaria is and has been my dentist also. And, doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to them, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Venaria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Venaria's office does everything. Dr. Venaria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit venariadental.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Occupied!
Hurry up!
Go away! I'm enjoying my hot shower!
Yeah, we'd all like to. Hot water hug.
That's it. Family meeting. We can all enjoy long, steaming, hot showers, even the last in line, which it seems is always me. But go ahead, have that imaginary argument of what you should have said. Take your time. With our new high-efficiency Navien tankless water heater, I'll never take a cold shower again. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com to learn more.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, big 2 o'clock hour. Dom's Money Melody coming up. Also, Jim just got this from a caller. We hadn't seen it, but West Point is taking out of their mission statement duty, honor, country. They dropped duty, honor, country, West Point from the mission statement. Remember Douglas MacArthur? I'll give you more details on the rationale behind that. Even for the U.S. military, as far as it's gone, that's pretty shocking that you could take that out. And it's going to be replaced. It just flows. Army values. What might they be? Oh, I bet, Dan, there's a little subset to there. Inclusion, diversity, equity. Does that make you feel America is prepared to face the Chinese and others? All right, let's go to the aforementioned Matt Rooney, who really, thank God on Twitter, I would not have been able to go through a 910-page report, cost the taxpayers $9 million to tell us what happened in New Jersey during COVID. Matt's with us on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Matt, thanks for being so valuable to go through that, or at least know to have somebody go through it. Then you tweeted it.
I'll tell you what, if I could get paid, Dom, to write something at $10,000 a page, forget about me not practicing law anymore. You, me, Dan, we'd be on a cruise right now.
That's exactly right. Boy, what a wired law firm that's got to be, Matt. And
seriously, yeah. I mean, it's good business, I guess, whitewashing the ill deeds of Phil Murphy. You and I, Dom, could have come up with one page to summarize New Jersey's response to the pandemic. We just would have written terrible in a black Sharpie marker, nice, big, and bold. I mean, look, even UC Berkeley, which is not the Heritage Foundation or Cato, right? It's a far left institution in 2021, said in a study that New Jersey's response was one of the worst on almost every level. And yet now, all these years later, when Phil Murphy's wife is on the ballot, we suddenly get this report trying to cast it in an entirely different light. Well, unfortunately for them, we lived through it. We know better.
But even there, Matt, you put on Twitter pages in the 500. They talked about places that had really tough labor unions, teachers unions, and partisan, how that exacerbated. They didn't use that word, but they said kept people out longer. And they even conceded that maybe kids were kept out too long.
Shocking, isn't it, that it took them this long to come up with that? We knew immediately that the cure in some senses was going to be far worse than the disease. My best guess is the law clerk that let this get into the report, Dom, is probably out of business right now. He's probably shopping his or her resume around to different law firms. But even then, if you look at the language, for example, page 537 for anyone that's as crazy as me and wants to look at this. In hindsight, it is likely that New Jersey students would have benefited from schools opening sooner. They did everything they could in this to try to make it as positive as possible when we know that it's not likely. It's an absolute certainty. Everyone listening to this program right now, at least anyone that has friends or family on the Jersey side of the Delaware, knows that these kids are still struggling with social and academic impacts from those schools being closed, despite the fact that we know that COVID, thankfully, was at best a very, very small risk to those children. And they didn't care.
We're talking with Matt Rooney, owns Sunday Nights here, and of course, SaveJersey.com. Matt, on that Save Jersey front, we were not invited. I even asked Harry Hurley, another one of our colleagues who runs the Jersey Shore. I didn't ask Rich, but the conservative panel, which we gave just pearls of wisdom and debate, I thought it was highly entertaining, interesting every year, would meet at Harris. And you were there both days with SaveJersey.com online and all kinds of things that you were doing. And Republicans didn't think we're worthy of that this year.
I guess not. It's the first time I've ever been fired from a free job, Dom. Unless you got paid, you certainly deserve to. But we went down there, myself, you, Rich. Yeah. You mentioned Harry Hurley.
Yes.
For no other reason that we believe in having a strong opposition party in New Jersey, right? We think it's a healthy thing for democracy, which we're always being told is of the utmost importance. And this year they decided to scrap it. It's not as if I got an email or a phone call saying they weren't having it. They just didn't send the invitation. I think this is what they would call ghosting Gen Z. That's what they did. They ghosted us. So, is it a good thing to shut out this audience, 1210's audience? Is it a good thing to shut out Save Jersey at a time when the NJGOP just had another disastrous electoral cycle? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I had a great weekend. I'm sure you did something fun with Roe, but, I don't know whether or not the movement's stronger for having alienated all of our listeners and readers.
Well, I'm glad you said it, too. You were being a gentleman on Twitter and all, but I'm glad because I didn't want to put you in a bad spot there. But it's obvious what they did, and it's shocking. You think they would tell us, hey, we're going a different way. We're going to be highly technical, how to do mail-in balloting or something like that. But you still should have been there because you are publicizing, giving these people a platform of conservative voters in general across the entire state. There's nothing else like SaveJersey.com.
Well, as usual, you are too kind, and I appreciate over the years all of your support of the website and what we're trying to do. And I think substantively, Dom, on their end, they're missing half the equation. They did have, as you referenced, these technical seminars this year, and they're hammering home early voting and some other things that they think would benefit Republicans, and some of that may be true. But I think they're forgetting an important element, that part of the reason Republicans aren't turning in these ballots is because Republicans are not consistently giving their voters a reason to show up at the polls. Republicans, in order to participate, don't just want to be told to vote for the R and don't expect any results for it at the end of the day. That's the whole reason why Trump exists, because people got tired of just accepting the status quo. And I think that that's one of the reasons, Dom, why talk radio is so important, because we give a voice to the average voter that is just sick and tired of being told, well, listen, maybe we'll do something for you down the road if you continue to blindly trust us year in and year out. So who knows? Maybe next year they'll get a little religion here and decide to invite us back, and then you and I'll have to make a decision, I guess. We'll see if Dan's available. They should at least bring Dan out.
I'm ready.
Yeah, Lorenzo and Dan can pinch
Give me
it.
a pina colada.
The Gen Z or some millennial vote. Matt, but Save Jersey is one of the people that is hosting the Republican Senate debate, or one of the Senate debates.
That's right. So we have that coming up on April 3rd. We have a competitive contest this year on the Republican side of the aisle, which when you think about it is kind of cool, because we have not elected a Republican to the U.S. Senate from New Jersey since before Watergate. It's been that long. So we've had a long drought. But this year you've got three candidates: Curtis Bashall, who is a developer down in Cape May County. He's arguably the front runner at this point. But you also have a mayor from Mendham, Christine Glassner, Alex Adan, who used to be on television in New Jersey, a journalist. They're going to meet up on April 3rd. Myself and David Wildstein of the New Jersey Globe are going to be two of the panelists, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I always enjoy it because I finally get to ask the questions that when the rest of us are watching these debates on television, you always wish the moderators bring up, but they never do for whatever reason, either because of bias or some other factor. I finally get to say the quiet part out loud and say in person what I used to scream at the television, and hopefully we help people learn a little bit more about these three candidates who are going to take on maybe Tammy Murphy in November.
Absolutely. One parting area. We don't know how to call it on this. Dan thinks you're going to be with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Ilhan Omar. I'm holding out hope. We've been back and forth. We've only gotten one listener today who's supportive, Dan and I are, of what they've carved out here with TikTok. And I get the argument of repercussions, Matt, but I just see China it's an inflection point for me with China. To make the point, it should then lead to stopping the farmland. I would start with that and all the other machinations. But what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand the argument, for example, that President Trump made that the primary immediate beneficiary of this move is Facebook. And Facebook is not a good actor. I know Save Jersey's been in Facebook jail on more than one occasion. We posted a picture of Hunter Biden being carried by balloons and called it a Chinese spy balloon, and they labeled that offensive and kicked us off for 30 days. So I understand that argument, but at the end of the day, Dom, China is our enemy. There's no doubt about that. They are the great competitor to the West of the 21st century. It's going to be us or them at some point. So why are we giving them a venue to attack our children's minds on a daily basis? I mean, I'm sorry, kids, if you're listening, I get it. You love TikTok. Something else will arise out of this. It always does. I mean, when I was a kid, we were using AOL Instant Messenger. Does anybody even use that anymore? That's the beauty of innovation. Something will replace it. You'll find some new way to torture your parents with the horrible things you put up online. We don't have to support the Chinese to do it.
Well put. What's on tap for Sunday? Got any ideas yet?
Well, we're going to break down what's happened in the Republican presidential primary, which is now blissfully over. President Trump has now clinched the Republican nomination. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we have some more fun stories in the stack, including we're talking about Gen Z, the fact that something like a third of Gen Z women now identify as LGBTQ. Kind of interesting. I missed that in college, Dom. I don't know what that's all about, but
we'll go to Dan and Lorenzo.
One of the many topics we'll talk about this weekend on the Matt Rooney Show. It's kind of like hanging out with your friend at the bar or in the backyard. We just kind of wander around, but it's usually interesting and entertaining.
Good stuff, Matt. Thank you, Matt. Thanks very much as always. Great stuff.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
All right, Matt Rooney here on Talk Radio 1210. Dan, a vote to
love it.
Not ban TikTok, but to filter it off to an American company.
Yeah,
I would have started with the farmland and all that, but I think this is a good day. Is it just the type of callers who are paranoid about the U.S. government. Several of them dropped off after the initial guy today. But sentiment seems to have changed here. Is it President Trump that's changing minds? How dare we take away a conduit to weaken America from the communist Chinese? I mean, this is every bit as much as if the NBA, just like they did with Black Lives Matter, suddenly started putting propaganda for the Chinese on the side of courts. It's destructive of kids. It's malevolent, and it's only getting worse. And the Senate looks that they may not be going to, for a variety of reasons, push back on this and ban it, if you will, or move it to an American company. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is just push pound 1210. But right now, it is time for...
It's Dom's Money Melody.
Has all the money gone? All right, today we're playing for a pair of movie passes to see Cabrini from the makers of Sound of Freedom. Experience the uplifting journey of Francesca Cabrini in Cabrini, arriving in New York City in 1889. Her daring mission transforms lives. Get your tickets to Cabrini now, and it's in theaters right now.
So, Dom, today's going to be related to the side topic, but I don't want to give the side question away again because it might make the answer too easy. So, at Dom Show 1210, if you're unfamiliar with the side topic, go check it out. But if you've been listening a while now, then you do know what it is. And, Dom, I'm proud of this one. I dug up a clip from 1992. This guy singing into a karaoke machine, a friend of the show, related to the side question, singing your favorite song of all time. So it's like everything ties together.
Yes.
Who is this person in 1992 singing on a karaoke machine, My Way by Frank Sinatra? Take a listen.
Now the end is near, so I face the final curtain.
Joe of Exton?
I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my
I'm going to put it out there that out of national guests, I would say that this guy's among probably the top 5 most appearing on the Dom Show as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the rendition. I need a little coaching there. You know, the line.
I don't think it's good. I think it's pretty good.
Oh, it's the voice is nice and all. It's what Sinatra does at that moment, the swagger with it. That's very hard to do, I guess.
So again, related to the side question, this guy also has a history as an opera singer too. I didn't know.
I hear that. You can hear that definitely there. Yeah. All right. So it's 855-839-1210. Hit us with that. You'll be a winner, and you're off to see Cabrini. 855-839-1210.
Did it my way.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
The Washington Post says, you know what? Shoplifting's not a big deal, folks.
What brain surgeon wrote this?
Well, the brain surgeon goes by the name of Maura Judkis, Judkis. It's a new Washington Post report suggesting that the crime problem in American major cities has grown into a moral panic. This country was built on stolen land. Take your petty griefs elsewhere.
Never loot again, stay out of trouble, never go to jail.
That's right. Thank you, Meatball.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Although you try not to, most of us have used an ATM out of network. And at the end, you get that notice that it's going to cost you $4 extra.
Are you kidding me?
So you're paying money to get your own money. It makes you crazy. In retirement, you're going to want to use that 401k, but every time you dip into it, you have to pay taxes. Here we go again. You have to pay money to get your own money.
Oh, come on!
Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group believes that every retirement plan needs a tax plan. Without it, you're using Uncle Sam's plan. And do you really think that's going to work in your favor? Call Retire Ready Financial Group today at 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415 and schedule a complimentary retirement consultation. Or you can find them online at retirereadyfg.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriati, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, an XC40 can be leased for as low as $459 and an XC90 leased for as low as $629. Interest rates are as low as 4%. Along with Volvo-sponsored incentives, the Cherry Hill Volvo offers are very aggressive. When purchasing or leasing a new Cherry Hill Volvo, special additional incentives will be given when the transaction is completed by March 18th. Spring into Cherry Hill Volvo now for these incredibly fabulous offers.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it! I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
There's breaking news all day long from around the world, and sometimes all that noise makes it hard to hear about what's happening right here at home. With the free Odyssey app, getting your local news plus breaking news is easy. And even when you're not near a radio, stay connected with what's going on right here by listening live and push alerts. Just download the free Odyssey app and search and follow your local news station, and you're good to go. The local breaking news to get you through your day at your fingertips on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Hey, Southampton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
It's the Money Melody.
Where's all the money gone? Show me the money. Yes, that's right. Every day around 2:13, we hit you with that. Today's particularly intriguing. It brings together just about everything. Here's a little bit of the clue.
Now the end is near, so I face the final curtain, my friend.
So, Dan, do you think a side question is it too broad? All-time great song?
I think that's a good one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Marketing,
a timeless song?
Yes, timeless, all-time great song. Yeah, it would have to be timeless. That's a quality. Yeah. I'm writing that one down.
I think Billie Eilish's new Barbie song fits that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, you know what I'm voting for?
What's that?
Well, we're hearing right now.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just, and I think it's got to be identified with somebody to be a great song, too. You can't have 50 people doing it, and they're all about the same.
Like this one in Paul Anka.
That's right. Oh, it was pretty good at New Year's Day, New Year's Eve this year. All right.
So, Dom, just a reminder, this is directly related to the side topic today.
Yes.
I'll give the side question. I'm going to leave out one particular point that I posted on Twitter. But we're asking today, what's a job that nobody wants to do, but somebody's got to do it? And what I said is, this is a karaoke performance of My Way from an individual that appears on the Dom Show often that built a career largely around our side question.
All right. Let's go to Erica in Center City. Erica, who's singing that?
I think that's Mike Rowe. I'd know that voice anywhere.
Wow, you got that with Mike Rowe. That is tremendous. Did you know that Mike Rowe was a stutterer?
Oh, no, I didn't.
No, when he's in high school, Erica, he's an even better guy than he appears. I did a book about people and a teacher that changed their life. So he got this teacher, Dan, made him try out. I think he was a sophomore for a play, a school play. And he said, when you play this character, make sure you play it without a stutter. And that clicked.
Wow.
That seemed to do it.
Wow.
He told me that story several times. You are the winner, Erica. That is a great one.
Yeah.
I'll put you on hold. Dan, if you hadn't told me that, I wouldn't have guessed that. He is one of our favorites. I'm going to try to get him on again. He's often busy for Travis Mannion Day.
Yeah, always a great guest.
Yeah. By the way, you have secured just a wild guest for that day. Kane will be with us again.
Yeah, Mayor Jacobs is coming back.
And he has a doodle.
Yeah.
We're working on the doodles again this year.
Yeah.
Ro tells me she's working on hers. It should be something special.
Hey, so I also have Mike Rose singing some opera. Before that what clip I played was actually from QVC. He was a QVC host before Dirty Jobs.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he was selling a karaoke machine, so I dug that one out of the archive. But Dom, here's from a Kelly Clarkson show. Mike Rose telling about the time that he performed for the Baltimore Opera and sing some opera, and it's pretty good. Take a listen.
Go ahead, brother.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to hit you with a little Italian. This is the audition. This is the beginning of the audition piece. I had no idea what the words meant. I learned them later, but this is what got me into the Baltimore Opera.
Okay.
E chi asimara senti il resto al pianto scende re sacri monti o devi le me grazia ricevi.
Joe of Exton, feel free to call in with
I
a
have
review.
no idea if that's good or not.
We're only commoners, Joe. You have to help us out. I'm sure Danny's sitting there calculating and saying, I don't know. It's a little bit flat on the Italian vowels there. I got to get him back on the show. Yeah, he is just an unbelievable guy. By the way, a guy who's not so good, although I think he had one of the all-time great spins, Dan, in his song that he's most known for. Neil Young is going to put his music back on Spotify. Remember, a couple years back, he boycotted it because they were carrying Joe Rogan.
That's right.
You know what his excuse is? It just came down late last night. It's because Rogan will be on so many different platforms, he claims now. I have a list of them here, that the world would be robbed of Neil Young's music if he doesn't come back and do this.
Oh, how big is this guy's head?
Well, he is, he is a generation. Well, I'm thinking For Dead in Ohio, I think is classic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what a coward here. He boycotts because of Rogan, but then he comes back because the argument is, well, where's he going to put his music then?
It's really good music, I got to say. But
yeah.
I mean, can you imagine you coming out and say, I didn't want to rob the world of the Dom Giordano program? Like, it's just, come on, dude.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. All right. 855-839-1210. All right. Here's thanks to Jim for bringing me this, and thanks to a listener. We didn't see it. It's only on Newsmax at this point, but it is verified. The U.S. Military Academy, West Point, will no longer use the motto duty, honor, country as its mission statement. That's a pretty good mission statement. You know, you don't need to have always what happens with the woke and the left, Dan, they have to make something longer, okay? Like you can't say illegal immigrant. You might be able to say a person who's here illegally, maybe not. You have to say undocumented.
What's a woman?
Right. That's right. I can't answer that. Ketanji Brown couldn't answer that in her hearing. But it's also important, the famous speech by General Douglas MacArthur in 1962, when he retired or was leaving active duty, I guess, duty, honor, country, now will be replaced by a line that includes the words, Army values. Secretary of the Army, Christine Wormuth, and Army Chief of Staff, Randy George, both approved the change, which critics say is West Point going woke. Our responsibility is to produce leaders to fight and win our nation's wars requires us to assess ourselves regularly. So the letter to the cadets, thus over a year and a half ago, working with leaders across West Point and external stakeholders, we reviewed our vision, mission statement, and strategy to serve this purpose. They explained that the new mission statement binds the academy to the Army. As a result of this assessment, we recommend the following mission statement. To build, educate, train, and inspire the Corps of Cadets to be commissioned leaders of character, committed to the Army values, and ready for a lifetime of service to the Army and nation. Can you imagine? Who wrote this stuff? Duty, honor, country. Do you need all that word salad? Is Kamala Harris involved in this? How can you top duty, honor, country. Make love, not war. You know, George Carlin used to say that. Good night, everybody. How can you top that?
Can I throw another angle that the conspiracy theorists are dissecting about this one? So the former mission statement to educate, train, and inspire the Corps cadets so they each graduate as a commissioned leader of character committed to the values of duty, honor, country, and prepared for a career of professional excellence and service to the nation as an officer in the United States Army. The new mission statement to build, educate, train, and inspire the Corps cadets to be commissioned leaders of character committed to the Army values and ready for a lifetime of professional excellence and service to the Army and nation. No mention of United States anywhere.
Ah, yeah, that's true. No mention of the United States in there. So what nation are we talking about?
Yes.
But duty, honor, country is iconic. MacArthur, you know, despite some of the stuff with him and all that, was brilliant, was a real patriot, lifelong service. And Dan, if you're standing there saying duty, it's a famous scene. I guess it's in MacArthur. The cadets are standing at attention, duty, honor, country. And I think he says something like, we don't retire, we just fade away. And I think he leaves at that point. And you're going to replace it with, yeah, rah, 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 rah. Boy, we are in real trouble here, you know? The technology and everything else is superior, but this type of leadership, this is the, well, this is the type of stuff that I'm surprised it hasn't been out there more. Thanks to Paul in Bedminster for sending this to us, particularly if maybe we had a graduate or maybe you had a child that graduated West Point. Duty, honor, country. You just.
I was leaving the hotel this morning. A doorman asked me, "Where are you bound for, General?" And when I replied West Point, he remarked, "Beautiful place. Have you ever been there before?" Duty, honor, country. Those three hallowed words reverently dictate what you ought to be, what you can be, what you will be. They are your rallying points to build courage when courage seems to fail, to regain faith when there seems to be little cause for faith, to create hope when hope becomes forlorn. The unbeliever will say they are but words, but a slogan, but a flamboyant phrase. But these are some of the things they do. They build your basic character. They mold you for your future roles as the custodians of the nation's defense. They make you strong enough to know when you are weak and brave enough to face yourself when you are afraid.
All right, then. Thank you. And I think that's Gregory Peck. Or no, that's the original.
Yeah,
in the
that's
film,
the original, yeah.
Gregory Peck killed it as MacArthur. But imagine duty, honor, country. And we come up with something that a bunch of people slap together that's a word salad here. And no mention of the United States, just the nation. I'm not sure about that. President Trump and others running, got to say something about this. This is just when you think cancel culture, wokeness, and it's always the same thing. It's taking something that's perfect. What's a better rallying cry? Remember the Alamo? Or, the Alamo was a pleasant place, and Mexicans came in and Army values and yada, yada, yada. There's a reason. One of the best examples I can give, Dan, Trump got it. I knew he would get it after a little while. Make America great again. Remember, he started fooling around with keep America great again. And after a couple of times, he said, oh, what the heck? When you have it, you use it. You don't fool around with it. So duty, honor, country. How could you beat that? I don't know which word you would take out, but you would only put in one other word. Oh, maybe diversity, equity, inclusion. Maybe they'll be screaming that soon rather than duty, honor, country. How do they get away with stuff like this? How does this go? Well, look it up, the chain of command with Secretary who's in the hospital and doesn't tell anybody. Anything's possible. Boy, I mean, these are perilous times. You would think at West Point, this wouldn't be the case. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is just push pound 1210. We'll come to you too, your response. And also hit us on the side question. A job, National Mortician Day this week. A job that a lot of people wouldn't do. It's a thankless job, a really difficult job. Oh, boy. 855-839-1210. Hit us with that, with Dom and Dan on Talk Radio 1210.
The forecast will feel like May over the next few days. We'll have sunshine today with some high clouds. High temperature 20 degrees above average at 72. Mostly clear, milder tonight, low 48. And a warm day on Thursday, partly sunny, high 74.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there, investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go? I did it. I got the job. I can't believe it. I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Am I going to be okay? It's the most important question you should ask yourself when approaching retirement. A financial advisor will probably answer that question by looking at just one thing: how much you've saved. At Spectrum Wealth Partners, we believe that's only half the story. The stock market will continue to go up and down, but at Spectrum Wealth, we can help you build guaranteed lifetime income that's not affected by any of it. Let's sit down together and help you answer the question, am I going to be okay? Call 856-322-8686 or online at spectrumwp.com. And tune into the Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen Saturdays at 3 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Advisory services offered through Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, and Spectrum Wealth Partners are not affiliated companies.
My father taught me never put yourself in a situation where you have to say you're sorry. Great advice, right? So why do you only have one key to your car? Seriously, don't wait until you're apologizing to your wife or husband, or even worse, your boss, because you lost your keys. Save yourself that headache. Head to McCausland Lock Service and get yourself a spare. You're supporting small business when you do, and saving up to half of what you'd pay at a dealer. Call McCausland Lock Service for a quote today. 610-430-1500. 610-430-1500.
1 in 5 rely on the Catholic Charities Appeal for help. The fact is, nearly 1 million times per year, our programs provide assistance to people in need. These are women and children looking for shelter, the homeless looking for a meal, and individuals with special needs looking for opportunity, which is only possible due to the generous donations raised through Catholic Charities Appeal. We can't do this vital work without you. Your gift matters. Go to CatholicCharitiesAppeal.org to donate today.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at St. Matt's in Conshohocken, Saturday, April 6th, supporting Plymouth White Marsh High School baseball. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com! Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
Pretty good. You got to acknowledge that, despite how despicable Neil Young is, that he's coming back, because Joe Rogan, imagine Joe Rogan interviewing Joe Biden. What might be said there?
Oh,
malarkey.
Great.
Yeah. Oh, my. 855-839-1210. All right, Paul in Bedminster sent us this disturbing article about what's going on at West Point. Hey, Paul, thanks for doing that.
My pleasure, Dom. And the speech from MacArthur is priceless. It's incredibly cogent, and it's so important with what's going on in this world we live in today. And I just want to mention to you, Dom, it's not just West Point that this is going on at. It's the other service academies as well. And all you need to do is put in the Air Force Academy, woke, and do some searches on the other academies. They don't want young Americans, particularly those in the military, to have pride in our nation, to have any kind of a nationalist feeling. And I hope people who listened to this and learned about it today call their elected officials and let them know that this is unacceptable. And thank you to you and Dan for coming up with MacArthur's speech.
Yeah, it is masterful. And when Gregory Peck, every time I've seen it, portrays that speech at West Point, it is the best of the U.S. military. You don't get anything better than that.
It's the best of America.
That's even better put. That's exactly right. So, Paul, thank you for that. We'll stay on it.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Bill in Montco. Bill, you're on Talk Radio 1210. What do you have today, Bill?
Yeah. Hey, Dom and Dan. I'll get to the side question in a minute, but I went to a military college that, shall we say, is a rival of West Point.
Okay.
And I was glad that it revised its mission statement to include defense of the free enterprise system. You would never see that at a service academy. So,
well, what was that? What was the military school?
VMI, Virginia Military Institute.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's one of the biggest of all time with Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Right, and of course, George C. Marshall was our hometown, graduate made good. But I was just, at VMI, and the new mission statement was unveiled, and Defense of Free Enterprise was in it.
Yeah,
so you don't see that every day.
You don't. But when you have something that is boiled down brevity, when you have a duty, honor, country, when you start adding stuff around that, we know what you're up to. And anybody that's a fan of something inspiring, aside from, we're talking about the country here, should object to that just on those principles.
Exactly. So as far as the side question,
yes,
I would like. I am in awe of the window washers that do outside buildings, tall buildings that are up there all day. I just can't imagine. Like I said, construction workers. I take nothing away from them, but window washers are working at peril their whole working day.
Absolutely. And it looks better, Dan. In the old building, we were on the 10th floor, so we got to see them. You missed a spot over here.
Like, are they that necessary? Like, how dirty would the windows actually get if they didn't wash
I don't know. Yeah, that's true. I mean, is the risk, do they do them 100 stories up? And with modern buildings, you can't open windows and everything else, right?
That's petrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Dan, here's a tip for you as a side thing to some extra income. The hottest thing right now in second jobs is buying vending machines and servicing them. And then some make their way as their career to get 50 or 60 vending machines.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. I like that.
I was thinking about it as a side question.
Yeah.
What is it you would put in the vending machine that
Good
you
stuff.
say?
Not the crap that nobody buys. Like,
Right.
Who buys a packet of nuts? Well, you do, don't you?
Yeah, well, I would buy that. Yeah.
No,
but
you don't need to have a pack of peanuts in there.
yeah, did you ever go to the supermarket and you see these things that are always there?
Yeah.
They're never, and then
Like
right
we
next to it, the thing we want is out.
We have cup of noodles, ramen soup in ours. I mean, I've been guilty of buying it a couple of times, but I feel like this is taking up a lot of space for something that could be better there.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if you want to buy products, people are going to feel bad about themselves if they're seen.
You know what we should do? Let's launch a line of Chef Boyardee vending machines in office buildings.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Now that's
you
a
don't need
product.
refrigeration. You can just have all the cans there.
That is you see.
You want ravioli for lunch? Just
Oh
hit up the vending machine.
It's Chef Boyardee. He's a
Quality,
genius.
quality Italian food.
Let me take this one here, Dan, and set some order into this. Bruce in the Northeast. All right, Bruce, what's that really job that nobody wants?
Oh, man, there's many of them. But, we all know how very particular you are about your hair. We know that. Now, I can only imagine being Dom Giordano's hairstylist and listening to Dom in the chair. Hey, you're taking too much off the top. No, the part goes on the other side. And where's my hairpiece? And on and on.
That's Phil Murphy should send it over. That is outside the box. That's a pretty good one.
Are you a chair talker? Like with your...
Yes. I like them. I have a female
Stylist,
now.
I
I used to have Bill.
What are you talking about? Politics?
Somewhat.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in the shop, and it's in Center City, so it's in a mysterious place that I still don't
So in
find
a
right.
situation like that, like when you sit down in the barber's chair and they ask what your job is, do you just straight up say conservative radio host?
They know me. She used to carry over from
But
years.
say you're going to somebody new. Are you?
No, I don't say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you say? Radio host? They always ask, what do you talk about?
Yeah, I might say I talk about things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I really just don't want to get in an hour-long debate about politics.
Exactly. No, they don't. Most people, though, don't do that. They are respectful of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We talk about whatever's. I would say this: they don't like Larry Krasner, so that's a good starting point.
That's good.
What's the latest on Krasner? I have more on that tomorrow. But lightning round is next. 855-839-1210. That's how you get in on that. AT&T and Verizon Wireless. Just push pound 1210.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT presents our 7th annual Radiothon to benefit the Travis Manion Foundation. Join us all day Friday, March 22nd. All money raised will go directly towards empowering veterans and families of the fallen to help find healing and unite communities through service. Listen for special guests and exclusive offers, all to help the Travis Manion Foundation. Friday, March 22nd, only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the Odyssey app. Thanks to our sponsors, Emmons Roofing, Windows and Solar, emmonsroofing.com, Mick Coslin Lock Service, specializing in high-tech keys and remotes, locks, the letter N, keys.com, and Steam Fitters Local Union 420, serving the Philadelphia area since 1903. We do it right the first time.
It's the time of year to enjoy your life.
Hey, Dawn Stensland here. Stop letting that pain in your joints keep you from doing what you want to do this spring. Just call my friends at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking lasting joint pain relief, no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. QC Kinetics is literally transforming lives. Their advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Pro athletes, they've been doing this for decades, but now this life-changing treatment is available for you, all of us. So you can walk, run, climb stairs, play golf, move again, pain-free. No pain pills, no risky surgery. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients who are reclaiming their mobility. Live your best life this spring and summer. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000. Tell Dawn sent you.
Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Hi, it's Dawn. Need a lawn care service? Choose a company that provides better results and is safer for your family and pets. Choose Natural Lawn. They've been creating green lawns quickly, more naturally, and with fewer weeds since 1987. Their technicians work to determine the specific needs of your lawn, which reduces the need for chemicals and creates a safer lawn. Take advantage of Natural Lawn's limited time offer, free seeding every year. Call 800-FREE-SEED. Choose my lawn care company, Natural Lawn of America. Greener grass, fewer weeds guaranteed.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, over 3 million people called Morgan & Morgan in their time of need. And with over 1 million of those calls coming from previous clients, friends, and family.
My name is Jeannie. I was sitting in traffic and I was hit twice from behind by 2 different cars. My first thought was Morgan & Morgan. I was very surprised at how easy it was. I did not have to go into the office. I did everything by text. They needed documents. I could sign them, I could upload them, I could send them right back with ease. Call Morgan & Morgan. It's easier than you think.
Thank you for trusting us. We've become the largest injury firm in the world because we've won a lot. The word is out. Size matters. Reputation matters. We're America's largest injury law firm for a reason. With over 900 dedicated attorneys and climbing, we're ready wherever you are, whatever you need. The choice is easy. We're just a phone call away. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Her words weren't written under peaceful shade, but under fear for her life.
I don't think of all the misery, but of the beauty that still remains.
The words of Anne Frank continue to fill us with hope. Hope. Pass it on from passiton.com.
Hello, America. It's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you don't have Consumer Cellular yet, now is the perfect time to switch and save. For a limited time, new customers can get wireless service for as low as $15 a month for your first year. Yep, the same exact nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for $15 a month for an entire year. What are you waiting for? Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and use code RADIO15.
See consumercellular.com/firstyear15 for promotional details.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
That is exactly right. One little note, Senator Kennedy from Louisiana, Dan, we had him here with the Dr. Oz event. He's a riot. I had to follow him. No, I introduced him with the fainting lady, and he was after me. He said, he just said about the TikTok bill, I would not turn my back on the Communist Party of China if they were 2 days dead. Where does this guy come up with this stuff? Can you imagine? Critical of those who the Senate are going to vote to let TikTok go. You're looking for it? That's okay. We'll put